We're going to be discussing the war to control black politics. In particular, we're going to be taking a look at speech and money. So those are some things we're going to be concentrating and focusing on here. And we have a few things to cover in that regard. And I think it's very, very important that we also discuss the language component. That's a critical key part of the discussions that we're having. The national dialogue and narrative has changed because we have changed the national lexicon. That was something I touched on last night. It was something I talked about last night. But equally as important with that is the reliability of the information and analysis that you receive here. So in that vein, I have some housekeeping that I need to do here momentarily. I just have a little bit of housekeeping that I need to do here because people listen to the programs and sometimes they listen to the weekend as a whole and they come back later. So I want to go ahead and address something very, very briefly here that also dovetails off of tonight's program. During last night's program, we were talking about when Amanda Seales recently went on the YouTube channel Jubilee. She was talking to a bunch of folks there and they're going round and round. And I made the observation that, by the way, Amanda Seales, who during this video gleefully, proudly identified herself as the daughter of, as an immigrant's daughter, and yet on the subject of reparations or racism, she didn't really do very, very much of anything at all to establish herself as one of us. And there was a fella in the chat room, Toby, T-O-B-E. I won't make him call up. This is a teaching moment. I won't make him call up, but this is a teaching moment. Now, you'll remember that I said she didn't ask these folk where they came from. And you got to understand, sometimes we got low-key haters. You know, just there's always somebody who's like, they tune in and hate watch. It's like, damn, I can't stand that nigga chasing him. Wish I could catch him. And so then they act like, oh, yeah, I love your program, you dirty nigga. And it's kind of that kind of energy. You know? It kind of goes like that. You all know it. You've been with me for years and years. So sometimes some people, and I'm not going to say necessarily this person, but if it's you, you know it's you. And that's kind of the energy they come with. They're hoping that they can make something or create something. Well, you'll remember I said last night, and I was fervent about that no, that's not what she said. I can understand why you might think that, and that's why I said she didn't stomp on it. So I want to show you all what she actually said. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do better than that. Let me back this up a little bit more so you all can hear this. Like I say, this is just a teaching moment. Just doing a little bit of housekeeping here.
Ever do that? Who is you guys?
Members of the black community that don't want to hold people accountable, especially black people.
Of systemic racism.
I think our resilience is happening now. I think growing, understanding the real problems, not going out and trying to protest against. You guys don't ever do this. KTS.
You guys don't ever do that.
KTS,
who is you guys?
Members of the black community that don't want to hold people accountable, especially black people. So KTS Dre was shot 60 times outside of Cook County, Chicago. How many BLM members came out? You earlier said BLM is about police.
Stop referring to me as you guys.
Okay, that's fine. So, for example, we had a really good example of this where it's not a police because I remember you.
Now, remember any of us when he kept with that you guys and you people and you all, we all know those of us from the soil, we would have stopped him right then. And it immediately would have been, you and your people are not from here. Where your people from? But that did not occur with Amanda. So this is a teaching moment, Toby. This is a teaching moment.
So KTS Dre was shot 60 times outside of Cook County, Chicago. How many BLM members came out? You earlier said BLM is about police.
Stop referring to me as you guys.
Okay, that's fine. So, for example, we had a really good example of this where it's not a police because I remember you said.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? What do you mean by that? Like, what state am I from? Where was I born?
Where do you live right now?
I live in Florida. I was born in Angola, though. I was born in sub-Saharan Africa, okay?
Where did you grow up for most of your time?
In Maine. I lived in North America.
Okay. So you all heard what she said. and you heard the whole context. She did not ask where your people from, nor was she asking him what his lineage was. So very, very important when somebody jumps up in the chat room. They do that because they're not hosting anything. They're not responsible. They can say crazy, silly stuff, and they won't jump up and then say, "Oh, that was me saying I was hella wrong." They won't do that. So there's a reason I'm on this side of the microphone and you're on that one. But I wanted to go ahead and point out to you all that no, Jason was right the first time. Jason was dead on the money and correct the first time. When she said, "Where are you from?" she meant what state in America. She was not asking for his lineage, and even when he volunteered his lineage, she did not follow that down the rabbit hole. You heard it for yourselves, but if you'd like me to go ahead and run it for you one more time, one more again, I can. But by the way, no, she said exactly what I said she said. No, she did not ask him where your people from. And when she said where you from, she meant what state. Because when he asked, what state do you live in? So no, she was not inquiring about his lineage, nor did she ever inquire about it. And even when he volunteered it, she did not follow it up, which is exactly what I said. By the way, y'all know this. I don't see Toby tonight. He's sitting back taking notes and damn it, they got him. Okay, well, don't feel bad about it. Just take it as a teaching moment.
Stop referring to me as you guys.
Okay, that's fine. So, for example, we had a really good example of this where it's not a police because I remember you said.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? What do you mean by that? Like, what state am I from? Where was I born?
Where do you live right now?
I live in Florida. I was born in Angola, though. I was born in sub-Saharan Africa. Okay.
Where did you grow up for most of your time?
In Maine. I lived in North America.
In Maine.
She's gonna ask about his
And
parents.
what is the population of black people in the town that you're from?
It's really extremely low, but I grew up around black people, and there's a black community where I lived.
And that black community that you lived in, did they teach you about black history in the United States?
I
Like,
learned black history.
Are your parents black American?
Yeah, my mom is black. My father is black.
No, I'm asking, were they born in the United States?
No, because I wasn't born there.
Oh, so you guys are all from Angola?
Yes. But again, I like I told you earlier, right? In terms of people like KTS, they were shot. BLM.
No, I did not take it out of context. No, I did not. You heard him tell her where his people were from. She does not follow up on it. Oh, well, they're from Angola. And she stops right there. She doesn't follow up with all the implications that all of us would have made to shut this little goofball down. She didn't do that. So even when he volunteered it, even when she finally got around to asking about his parents, because he said black and she stole that from us, because there's the reason why she didn't follow up on this, because she doesn't talk like this. Amanda doesn't talk this way. She doesn't have our ideology surrounded around lineage. So when the lineage discussion came up, she didn't respond like us. She responded like the daughter of an immigrant. So no, I didn't take it out of context. Jason just let it keep playing. I did let it keep playing. Well, she mentioned about his parents. As I said, no, she doesn't follow up on that. She says that and then doesn't say a word. She just keeps going. So no. She didn't shut him down like the rest of us would have. We would have started off, where your people from? And that would have been, okay, well, that explains the silliness that you're saying. Even when she said the neighborhood you were raised in, he had already told him that his folk were from Angola. Wait a minute, are you raised around foundational black folk, or are you in the neighborhood of immigrants? But she wasn't gonna say that because at her core, she sees herself as an immigrant. I'm not going to say she's herself. At her core, she is an immigrant herself. She is not one of us. So when this discussion comes up, she's showing you who she sides with, which is exactly what I said. She never asked these people, where your people from? And she never followed up on it, nor did she make it the topic of discussion. So The 720 degrees of analysis you receive absolutely nowhere else. The reliability and uncompromising consistency and accuracy that you have come to know and love. And yes, there's a reason that they call me the authority. Now that we've gone ahead and taken care of that, I would like to go ahead and have a discussion here tonight about the war for control of black politics. And that brings me to New York City. New York City and Mayor Eric Adams, at least for the next couple of months, he's still mayor of New York. Mayor Eric Adams, boy, y'all, the hits just keep on coming, and I'm not talking about Casey Kasem. For folks in New York City, they already, well, most of you may know about this already. By the way, CBS New York, fair damn use. This is a story coming out of New York City here now, and it's basically one of the pillars of what we're talking about in tonight's program. Somebody else is in trouble, and I want you all to hear all the folks connected to it.
One of Mayor Eric Adams' closest allies and former top advisor Ingrid Lewis-Martin is facing new bribery conspiracy charges.
She's accused of steering city contracts, including for asylum seeker shelters, fast-tracking permits, influencing the Department of Transportation, and speeding up development contracts.
What? Damn! Now, I know a lot of you are thinking to yourselves, wow, them cheekbones look familiar. Them cheekbones look familiar. And you're right. You'll all remember that when Governor Greg Abbott of Texas was sending all the illegals up to New York, this was the woman who was sitting at that press conference next to Mayor Adams talking about how they need money. Remember? She was sitting there next to Mayor Adams and they had their press conferences and stuff. Remember, that was her, remember? Yeah, she was right there. And now what do you know? Now I want you to understand, CBS New York is lying through their teeth. Take a look at the stuff that they put up here as these bullet points. This is not what they just said. That's the key point. This isn't what they just said. Let me roll this back so you can hear what they just said and see if what they're saying actually lines up with what they're showing you on the screen.
New bribery conspiracy charges.
She's accused of steering city contracts, including for asylum seeker shelters.
Oh, okay, well, that changes every damn thing, doesn't it? When you say steering city contracts. Toby poked his head up. Is it free and clear? Yes, it's safe and clear, dude. Just charge that to the game and take it as a lesson learned. But you notice they dropped that off of there. Well, that changes every damn thing when you say for the illegal alien shelters, steering city contracts for the illegal alien shelters. Well, that changes everything, doesn't it?
Steering city contracts, including for asylum seeker shelters, fast-tracking permits, influencing the Department of Transportation, and speeding up development contracts in exchange for favors. Alice Gaynor was in the courtroom as she and several other associates faced a judge today. Alice?
Well, you may remember back in December, Ingrid Lewis-Martin was charged for an alleged bribery conspiracy that totaled more than $100,000. Well, now she's additionally being accused of netting more than $75,000 in alleged bribes and other benefits. Lewis-Martin and more than a handful of co-defendants were arraigned this morning on the charges after 4 new indictments were unsealed.
So $175,000, that was all the bands that made her dance. That was all it took. Not millions, but thousands. It didn't take millions. It only took thousands for her. Boy, they buy these folk cheap, don't they? By the way, you know about, folks are going to visit Jason, where's she from? You already know.
Ingrid Lewis-Martin, followed by her son and other co-defendants, entered the court.
Oh, this is a hell of a family reunion right here, ain't it? Well, you know, you need guys in America. Okay. All right. Can we talk about Caribbean crime? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Ingrid Lewis Martin, followed by her son and other co-defendants, entered the courtroom in handcuffs. During their arraignments, all entered pleas of not guilty. It's alleged that from 2000...
I know, you just saw the white man that came up behind them.
All entered
Don't worry, they'll get to him in just a few moments.
pleas of not guilty. It's alleged that from 2022 to 2024, when Lewis Martin was chief advisor to...
As I said, there she is next to Eric Adams, if you'll all remember, because I did the program on this. Yeah, if she looks familiar, that's because you saw her on my program before with him and her talking about how they need more money to house the illegal aliens that were being brought to New York. Not that they need to put their asses on a boat back where they came from. We need more money to house them here. And what do you know? She got deep off in the game about them illegals because she was like, hey, look here, if you pass that sack over here for a second, we'll see if we can help make some things pop up for you. And don't worry, people. Oh, there is a minority coalition at work. Please understand, as this news piece goes on, there is a minority coalition that will be unfolding here, just not the one that you were historically told would be it.
The courtroom in handcuffs. During their arraignments, all entered pleas of not guilty. It's alleged that from 2022 to 2024, when Lewis Martin was chief advisor to Mayor Eric Adams, she used her influence to engage in a series of bribery schemes. Lewis Martin is accused of directing the city to secure lease agreements for asylum seeker shelters to developer Tianji Lee's...
Nigga, what?
Well, yeah, we found your minority coalition. Just that fast. There's your if anybody was wondering where your minority coalition is in New York and who your black politicians in New York are prioritizing and helping, I just thought you ought to know. I found them for you. I found them. Yeah, they're right here. Right here. This is who they're helping. She won't answer the phone for you. Law-abiding citizen trying to get something done. She won't answer the phone for you, but she answered the phone for the Asians, and not just the Asians. Don't worry, the usual suspects will show up here in just a moment. They started with him, and I'm like, you could have just shown all the usual suspects. Jason, go ahead and let it play. Okay, I'll let it play.
Was chief advisor to Mayor Eric Adams. She used her influence to engage in a series of bribery schemes. Lewis Martin is accused of directing the city to secure lease agreements for asylum seeker shelters to developer Tianji Lee's preferred property owners. As part of that agreement, Lee would allegedly receive 10% from the contract. Lewis Martin allegedly called Jesse Hamilton, the deputy commissioner for real estate services, and said, quote, I need those done. Whatever site TJ wants, I need him to get them because that's our expletive people. At one point, Lee allegedly wired $50,000 to Lewis Martin's son, Glenn Martin's business account. She also allegedly helped expedite approvals by the FDNY and Department of Buildings for Lee's Karaoke Club in Queens. Lewis Martin is also accused of interfering with the DOT's plan to redesign and install protected bike lanes on McGinnis Boulevard in Brooklyn because it was a road used by the company Broadway Stages. Its owners, Gina Argento and Anthony Argento, allegedly conspired with Lewis Martin to change the plan. Lewis Martin allegedly texted Gina Argento, "They can kiss my expletive," in response to a community-led campaign flyer about making the roadway safe. In exchange, the Argentos allegedly transferred $2,500 to Lewis Martin's bank account, provided more than $10,000 in catering for a Gracie Mansion event, and secured a small role for Lewis Martin on the TV series Godfather of Harlem.
What? Yeah, you heard that right. For a few $1,000s and a cameo on the Godfather of Harlem, which, by the way, is very interesting. So these white folk here, these white folk are the ones who can get you on the black show. These white folk are like, don't you want to be on this black show? We can take care of that for you. And I want to go ahead and explain something to you all that I've said to you historically, but let me just emphasize this right now. This is why we have such a hard time getting things done. People We can't do that. I can't do that. I don't have, if what it takes to buy you off is to get you a cameo on The Wire or The Godfather of Harlem or Power, if that's what it takes, I'm going to lose this damn fight. Even if I'm willing to bribe you, I can't win if that's what I have to do. If you want to know the power of generational wealth and systemic ethnic cooperation, i.e. white supremacy, well, this is what it looks like. Yeah, you might have money, but can you get her a cameo on this television show because she wants to see herself and her face on this show for the rest of time? Can you do that? Because if you can't, she's hanging up the phone on you and talking to the white folk over here who gonna give her money and some perks. So you see, our lack of ability to do things is much larger than how much money can you spend. It's larger than that, is the point I'm trying to make. So how do we compete when part of competing is, can you get me on a TV show? No, this TV show right here is really, I don't even know anybody over there.
$10,000 in catering for a Gracie Mansion event and secured a small role for Lewis Martin on the TV series Godfather of Harlem. Other accusations include Lewis Martin, her son, and Hamilton conspiring to push projects in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Queens for real estate developer Yashil Landau, who in exchange allegedly paid for more than $5,000 of renovations at a property Lewis Martin owns and at Hamilton's residence. All defendants were released and declined comment when leaving, but an attorney for the Argentos said,
we're going to beat the case. That's all.
And an attorney for Jesse Hamilton said Hamilton has made the decision to resign to focus.
Their attorney didn't say they're innocent. Their attorney didn't say that they're innocent. Their attorney said, we gonna beat the case. That's what their attorney said. He didn't say my clients are innocent. He said, we gonna beat the case. So nothing says innocent like I'm gonna beat the rap. Nothing says innocent like that. And yes, of course, in New York City, while all these other people, while there were clowns over there in these other places who were trying to tell you about crime stats, by the way, the New York real estate game is locked down. The New York real estate game is locked down. And there's conversations these other folk are not going to have while they're pointing the finger at us. And it's just like, by the way, hello. Okay.
Hamilton's residence. All defendants were released and declined comment when leaving, but an attorney for the Argentos said,
we're going to beat the case. That's all.
And an attorney for Jesse Hamilton said Hamilton has made the decision to resign to focus on fighting the allegations.
And I ask everybody in the public to reserve judgment till we let the truth come out.
An attorney for Ingrid Lewis Martin says, quote, her only so-called offense was fulfilling her duty, helping fellow citizens navigate the city's outdated and often overwhelming bureaucracy. At no point did she receive a single dollar or any personal benefit for her assistance.
Okay, so according to her, it ain't so. Ain't nobody paid me nothing. Now, all I got to tell y'all was, do you think them white folk ain't gonna flip? And do you think those Asians ain't gonna flip? So she talking about ain't nobody paid me, and it's just, ma'am, are you depending on the white folk and the Asians? What is it with these people? Letitia James and these folk, what is it with them? And they think the Asians got their back in New York. There must be something going on that we're all just not aware of. We're just not all aware of it. Remember that Brooklyn DA who got Peter Liang off? You know, there's an element to what's going on with the Asians up there. They got the black politicians in their back pockets. Everybody's talking about the Jewish folk and the white folk. From what I see, the Asians got the black politicians in their back pocket up there, man. They got them in their back pocket up there. Easy. So, all right.
The next court date for all defendants is September 10th. Christine and Jessica.
Thank you, Alice.
Now, Mayor Adams is insisting he's not accused of anything in this new round of indictments, but in the court of public opinion, he will apparently not escape unscathed.
As you can see, sitting next to me, political reporter Marcia Kramer joins us to talk more about this part of the story, and it's very well connected, Marcia.
Yeah, buddy. So up there in New York City, the fight for control of black politics. You can't get a hold of Eric Adams. You can't get a hold of Eric Adams' assistants. You can't get a hold of anybody at City Hall. You can't get anyone there to return a phone call. You can't get nothing, but these other people can. Not only that, remember what I said about the Black Asian Coalition up there? By the way, it's not done just yet, because there's also this story as well.
It reminds people that of the charges, and it also puts pressure on him to think about whether he should run. I mean, he's not going to drop out right now, but think about this. What if, donations stop? What if his poll numbers drop?
Which are already low.
And what if supporters start to say, well, maybe we're not going to support him. So, another shoe has to drop in this race.
Okay, Marcia Kramer, thank you.
She says another shoe has to drop in this race. Don't look up now, but I think there might be another shoe dropping.
A volunteer for Mayor Adams' re-election campaign is suspended after allegedly giving cash in a bag of potato chips to a journalist.
What? Yeah, you heard that right. The woman just said another shoe will have to drop. Okay, another shoe incoming.
Another shoe has to drop in this race.
Okay, Marcia Kramer, thank you.
So much.
A volunteer for Mayor Adams' re-election campaign is suspended after allegedly giving cash in a bag of potato chips to a journalist. Reporter Katie Honan of the City Publications says that a few $100s was inside of a chip bag that was given to her yesterday by Winnie Greco. Now, Greco previously served as Director of Asian Affairs for Mayor Adams. Her attorney says that there was nothing nefarious about this gesture. The Department of Investigation, though, was contacted and the bag of money turned over.
I saw this red envelope, which I sort of hoped would be some sort of tip, not monetary tip, but information about the mayor or something, what every reporter wants. And then I saw it was money.
This giving of money is typical in Asian culture. She feels that this is just an honest mistake.
Now, a spokesperson for
brothers and sisters from around the world.
Then I saw it was money.
This giving of money is typical in Asian culture. She feels that this is just an honest mistake.
Brothers and sisters from around the world and the 5 boroughs. Will any of you please tell me, when was the last time that an Asian person in New York City just slid you a few $100s in a bag of chitlins? What? When's the last time that an Asian in New York City just slid you a few $100, in your tube steak, in your Philly cheese steak? When has that happened? I want to know, when's the last time y'all just walked into the Asian store and they slid you was willing to pay for something? They slid you a few $100s. This is just part of our culture. Please tell me when they've extended that part of their culture to you. I got folk in here who are lifelong New Yorkers. I have people listening to me right now. You are lifelong New Yorkers. So I need you to reach back in your memory banks and remind me, when's the last time that the Asian slid you a few $100s next to your wontons and your fried rice? Asking for a friend. Because I know y'all do hella business with them up there. And I'm just trying, when have they ever extended that part of their culture to you? Anybody? anybody at all, because according to the attorney, this is just a routine part of their culture, like Santa Claus or Toys R Us. And I'm like, well, black folk been up there forever, and I don't know anybody they shared this part of the culture with, because if they did, y'all would be shopping at her store a lot more often. I'm trying to find out. So yeah, y'all heard that for yourselves in New York City. Oh, it's they just do that. So man, look here, the Asians is doing what they do. The Asians are up there doing what they do. And that's what I'm saying. If you think they're gonna take the fall, well, you got another thought coming. If you think they're gonna take the fall for it, they are not the least bit interested. Now that you all have heard the details here, I want to go back. Now I can go ahead and dissect what you heard here. Jason, let it play. I'll let it play. So let me go ahead and go back and dissect this so that you can get the necessary 720 degrees of analysis you receive absolutely nowhere else.
Wants to engage in a series of bribery schemes. Louis Martin is accused of directing the city to secure lease agreements for asylum seeker shelters to developer Tianji Lee's preferred property owners.
I would like to know how many black folk in New York want to buy a piece of property or anything else, and even if you got it, the city is steering contracts to you. Simple question. I'm trying to figure out, okay, when have they steered contracts to you? Asking for a friend.
As part of that agreement, Lee would allegedly receive 10% from the contract. Louis Martin allegedly called Jesse.
So you get that? As part of the agreement, this fella here, she gonna steer the contracts to him, and he throw her a little money, and in exchange, he's gonna get 10%. What'd you say? 10 points. He gonna get 10% of their little hustle. 10%. Which, of course, you all should know, it's in the millions of dollars. These contracts were in the millions of dollars. And he's going to get 10%. But it didn't stop there.
Of that agreement, Lee would allegedly receive 10% from the contract. Louis Martin allegedly called Jesse Hamilton, the deputy commissioner for real estate services, and said, quote, "I need those done, whatever site TJ wants."
The deputy commissioner of real estate services. I need to know how many black folk here have ever been in contact with Mr. Hamilton. By the way, where his people from? Damn! By the way, where his people from? I would like to know how many of y'all in New York City dealing in real estate, you got real estate, you got your little shop or whatever. How many of you have ever talked to him? Because all these other folk making stuff happen. And I'm just like, by the way, have any of you ever been able to get him on the phone? Any of you ever been able to get him on the phone at all? Because he's willing and dealing and making things happen for people, just not anybody we know. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I forgot. I'm in the mistake. Well, they are working for their people.
Commissioner for real estate services and said, quote, "I need those done, whatever site TJ wants. I need him to get them because that's our expletive people."
Because that's our damn people. I need those done. Whatever site the Asian gentleman wants, I need him to get them. Because that's our people. There is a certain type of immigrant class that the American government brings over. That's the issue. The issue is there's a certain kind that they want. They want a certain kind that talks a certain way and acts a certain way and bows and scrapes, is selectively nearsighted or selectively blind. They want a specific type of person who would say something like that. And understand something. The critical, crazy part about this is that then you will have white supremacists and white supremacists online, white supremacists, social media influencers, white supremacists, and they'll tell you, well, you got a black mayor and a bunch of black representatives, don't you? Why, Eric Adams, when he was in office, he had all kinds of black folk around him. And then little goofball jackasses like this will be sitting here in front of his people talking about you, Amanda.
And deal with it, nigga.
Because you're his people. Because if you are you let us know which side your bread is buttered on, you're going to have to stay with that, even when it burns. But he will sit up here and be a member of the immigrant class that creates these kinds of situations and does these kind of things. And then he'll swear up and down he don't know nothing about it. He'll sit up here and tell you, oh, it's all of y'all. And then I can show you all over New York. So you see, when we talk to them, we put it in its proper context. Somebody who is compromised, like Amanda Seales, cannot put it in its proper context because she is unwilling to articulate this critical key element. So that's why she evaded it and didn't follow it, because she responded like what she is, not like what the math is. So this little jackalope here will say this nonsense, but he will not tell you, by the way, yeah, buddy, that's actually your people. That's your people doing this. So that's why we made it a point to start distinguishing and delineating, because let us make sure that we all know who y'all talking about, because when he sat in front of Amanda Seales, he made a distinction. You guys, y'all, you people, you guys. And it's like, hey, little goofball jackass, you guys, you people, y'all over there is what you mean to say. And this is why they have flooded the zone with so many of them. And wouldn't you know, they already know that they are compromised, and they already know that they're bought off. And they're going to damn near send his whole damn administration to prison. And oh yeah, by the way, I think it's Alvin Bragg is prosecuting the case here. So yeah.
Allegedly called Jesse Hamilton, the deputy commissioner for real estate services, and said, quote, I need those done. Whatever site TJ wants, I need him to get them because that's our expletive people. At one point, Lee allegedly wired $50,000 to Lewis Martin's son, Glenn Martin's business account. She also allegedly helped expedite approval.
Did you get that? So they're saying that the Asian slid 50 G's to her son's bank account. He's sitting over there trying to look suave, and it's, all right, bro. Y'all know how this goes, people. The last one to cut a deal is the one who holds the time. So, but yeah, they gave him $50,000.
$1,000 to Lewis Martin's son, Glenn Martin's business account. She also allegedly helped expedite approvals by the FDNY and Department of Buildings for Lee's Karaoke Club in Queens. Lewis Martin is...
So she was helping this Asian fella all over the damn place. Anything you want, anything you need. People, it isn't that these other folks are just these wonderful geniuses. That's not what it is. Please understand that. I want to articulate this for you for a few moments here. Please understand this, because you see, when you go on these programs or whatever and they send the wrong people because you got folks who are at war with money or capitalism and they can't explain these things. People, I want you to understand something right now. There's something I'm working on. I'm working on putting together something here right now so I can actually collate all of the data properly here. But I want you to keep something in mind. There isn't a single American corporation. Well, there are very, very few major American corporations, certainly the multinationals, who were or are able to achieve multi-billionaire status and capacity without direct government access, contact, and influence. General Electric, General Motors, Elon Musk and Tesla, Michael Dell. We can go down the list. Palantir. Everyone's talking about how great a success story Palantir has been. Palantir's quote unquote value has directly mirrored their access to government contracts. And government contacts. Yeah, I mean, Amazon, if you start naming them, there are going to be very, very few that have been able to do it without major support, and practically all of them have gotten some type of direct government support. Direct. All up and down Silicon Valley. And nobody talks about these things. In aerospace, you cannot be an aerospace company without direct government access, without direct government financial support. You cannot be an aerospace company without it. I'm not talking about just Boeing, Loral Hughes, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, Bell Helicopters, Osprey, Oshkosh. If you make something that flies, you're not going to become major without direct government financial access. If you don't get government financial support, you're not going to make it to the majors. And without that, you're probably not going to make it at all. If you can't get the federal government to get you plugged in so that that's part of your revenue stream, well, you won't make it. General Dynamics. I can go down the list. Raytheon. We can go down the list. And nobody talks about this. Clark Construction. Clark Construction is all the way plugged into government support, with some jackass going to sit up here and tell you about you don't need reparations because you're not working hard enough or not doing enough. And then, by the way, hey, Angolan asshat, can you show us why it is your people ain't got no contacts or contracts either, despite the supposed mythical work ethic? By the way, you sitting in the same damn boat, actually below us. Nobody talks about this. And if you go to other YouTube channels, they will not put it in its racial context. It is not that these other people are working harder. It's because it's like the damn mafia and Lucky Luciano. They sit around the table and they hold the knife that slices the cake of resources through the hand of white supremacy. And you don't have a seat at the table, and they are fighting tooth and nail to make sure that you never hold the knife, not even for a moment. You can never be allowed to hold the knife that slices the cake. They're not disputing whether or not white supremacy will exist. They are only arguing over whose hand is going to hold the knife that cuts up the slices of the white supremacist pie. And when you start seeing where the resources go, what do you know? You're not in line for any of it. Just a bunch of excuses to you. and a bunch of folks trying to tell you and lie to you and say you're not working hard enough. Well, what do you mean I'm not working hard enough to bribe people? I'm not working hard enough to lie to people. I'm not working hard enough for people to get kickbacks. I'm not working hard enough to get mobbed up and connected in these back rooms. I'm not working hard enough for that, you mean? And these are just the folks they grab. You know full damn well this is the way the state of New York operates. So if you look under anybody, this is what you'll find. It's just that now they're targeting Eric Adams, but every damn body else is doing it. New York City's construction trade runs on corruption. What? Ask Sammy the Bull Gravano, Michael Franzese. New York City's construction trades run on corruption. Always has, probably always will. You know what it's not running on? It's not running on black corruption. Certainly not foundational. It's not running on that. So there's this big complicated apparatus that is in place that is specifically targeting you for deprivation of resources. And somebody's fish-eyed fool of a nephew jumps up here and tells you that if you can get a job, your ability to get a job means there is no white supremacy.
Nigga, please.
Yeah. This is when keep your little Xbox playing, Roblox playing nephew back in your damn room. Don't let him out to say stupid stuff anymore. It's foolishness. It really is.
Helped expedite approvals by the FDNY and Department of Buildings for Lee's Karaoke Club in Queens. Lewis Martin is also accused of interfering with the DOT's plan to redesign and install protected bike lanes on McInnes Boulevard in Brooklyn because it was a road used by the company Broadway Stages. Its owners, Gina Argento and Anthony Argento, allegedly conspired with Lewis Martin to change the plan. Lewis Martin allegedly texted Gina Argento, "They can kiss my expletive," in response to a community-led campaign flyer about making the roadway safe. In exchange, the Argentos allegedly transferred $2,500 to Lewis Martin's bank account, provided more than $10,000 in catering for a Gracie Mansion event, and secured a small role for Lewis Martin on the TV series Godfather of Harlem.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So far as we've been able to aggregate or calculate here, it's $12,000, $13,000 cash, and a guest appearance on a TV show. People? Really? That was it? That's all? That's all. That's all. What I'm saying to you is, do you realize what they're really saying? They're saying that these heifers and bastards sold us out for 13 G's, people. 13 G's and a walk-on cameo on the television show. And that was all that it took. Didn't take anything else. Thousands, people, not millions. Thousands. We're not talking about Enron money here, people. Thousands. That was all it took to buy her off when she should have been putting 10 toes down day and night for, well, the folks she looks like, and very clearly, yeah, that doesn't. So next time a suspected white supremacist tell you, folks help the folk from their race or who they look like. No, that's not. Y'all wouldn't have brought them over here if that's the way they operated. You brought them over here because you know that that is not the way they operate. That's the whole reason you brought them here, because you know they don't do that. They don't do that back in the home country, and they damn sure don't do it here. And here's the crazy part, folks. Even if we could slip her a few dollars, it wouldn't do us any good to do so, because this heifer is so damn blatant, she's so easy to get caught. What? All of us would be on our damn way to Rikers Island if we depended on her not to mess up the scheme. So slipping her a few dollars don't do you any good. You're going to get caught, I guarantee it. every damn body she talked to is sitting in the damn courtroom. So why would I pay you? Even if I was willing to go the bribery route, I can't go it with you. She's not even slick enough to make sure you can pull off the caper. She ain't even slick enough for that. She's all in text messages. You know, these are our damn people here. You better get that built up. Ma'am, should you be texting this? Oh, don't worry. This is my personal phone. Trump sitting in the damn White House, and there's people here. Yeah, this is what the heifer said. This is what she said. I mean, for less than the cost of a Mercedes GT, that was all it took. That was all that was required. I'm going to go ahead and throw this link up in the chat room here real quick. By the way, this is the Zoom link. So for Let's Talk Network and anybody else, by my mods, Yo88, anybody else instructed to call in, so glad that you've had so much to say there. Let me go ahead and I've gone ahead and thrown the link up here. So you are required to go ahead. I would say invited, but no, we're beyond invited. You are required to give us a call. And those are the only people who are supposed to call in. That's it. Everybody else, this is not general access. This is only for them. So if you're not it, don't wind up in the wrong place. So this is not for everybody here. If you're not them, this is not your time to call in. You'll get your moment here in a little bit, but since they've had so much to say so early in the program, we're going to go ahead and give them a chance to talk to you all directly so that they can explain to you all exactly where we're all getting it wrong. Going to go a little bit further here with it.
By the FDNY and Department of Buildings for Lee's Karaoke Club in Queens. Lewis Martin is also accused of interfering with the DOT's plan to redesign and install protected bike lanes on McGinnis Boulevard in Brooklyn because it was a road used by the company Broadway Stages. Its owners, Gina Argento and Anthony Argento, allegedly conspired with Lewis Martin to change the plan. Lewis Martin allegedly texted Gina Argento, "They can kiss my expletive," in response to a community-led campaign flyer about making the roadway safe. In exchange, the Argentos allegedly transferred $2,500 to Lewis Martin's bank account, provided more than $10,000 in catering for a Gracie Mansion event, and secured a small role for Lewis Martin on the TV series Godfather of Harlem. Other accusations include Lewis Martin, her son, and Hamilton conspiring to push projects in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Queens for real estate developer Yashiel Landau, who in exchange allegedly paid for more than $5,000 of renovations at a property Lewis Martin owns and at Hamilton's residence.
Okay, folks, one more thing here. For those of you who don't live in New York City, she named off something else here. If you don't live in New York City, it might not have been significant to you, but I want you to listen.
Making the roadway safe. In exchange, the Argentos allegedly transferred $2,500 to Lewis Martin's bank account, provided more than $10,000 in catering for a Gracie Mansion event, and secured a small...
So these folks here gave her or contributed $10,000 for a, quote, Gracie Mansion event. For those of you who do not know what Gracie Mansion is, that is the mayor's residence in New York. So just like you got a governor's mansion, well, in New York City, they didn't bid in that. So that's Gracie Mansion. Gracie Mansion is the mayor's residence. They got a little scam like that in Chicago, too, for Brandon Johnson. He's been wasting and malfeasant with money for his wife. So if they dig long enough, they'll find that out. But, yeah, $10,000 for an event at the mayor's mansion office, because he does work out of there, too. So, yeah, there's that, too.
On the TV series Godfather of Harlem. Other accusations include Lewis Martin, her son, and Hamilton conspiring to push projects in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Queens for real estate developer Yashiel Landau, who in exchange allegedly paid for more than $5,000 of renovations at a property Lewis Martin owns and at Hamilton's residence.
So you got that. So this fella here paid for thousands of dollars of renovations.
Include Lewis Martin, her son, and Hamilton conspiring to push projects in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Queens for real estate developer Yashil Landau, who in exchange allegedly paid for more than $5,000 of renovations at a property Lewis Martin owns and at Hamilton's residence.
Okay. So they were helping him to get his projects cleared, to get through all that avalanche of paperwork. And I want y'all to understand something. In New York City, they will tell you that, oh, there's just so much paperwork, and oh man, there's just too much to get through, and you got to fill out 50 forms, and then you got to wait 6 or 8 months, and you can't get nothing else. See, that's what they tell you. These people did not do this because this is abnormal. They did this because this is normal. They tell you about the paperwork and the bureaucracy and the tons of forms and months that they tell you that. These other folk roll up and they're like, oh, come on, drop a 10, come on in. And then you wonder how it is that their stuff is up and going and built, and you're being told about the quote unquote bureaucracy. I'm trying to give you all the whole hemispherical view of this, whether you're a resident in New York City or you're not, because this goes for every major American city and most cities in particular. Yeah, they tell you about what can't be done. And meanwhile, everybody else is zipping around you. You're like, okay, while some doofus will sit up here and tell you about you ain't working hard enough, and somebody's little chappy jumps online talking stupid. And if you don't properly just go ahead and destruct his arguments from the beginning, you leave it up to me to come up later and have to point it out.
All defendants were released and declined comment when leaving, but an attorney for the Argentos said,
We're going to beat the case, such a loser.
And an attorney for Jesse Hamilton said Hamilton has made the decision to resign to focus on fighting the allegations.
And I ask everybody in the public to reserve judgment till we let the truth come out.
An attorney for Ingrid Lewis Martin says, quote, her only so-called offense was fulfilling her duty, helping fellow citizens navigate the city's outdated and often overwhelming bureaucracy. At no point did she receive a single dollar or any personal benefit for her assistance.
Navigating the outdated and bloated bureaucracy. What in the hell has Eric Adams done over the course of the last four years to point out about that bureaucracy? Maybe if he had made taking that on a priority, he wouldn't be where he is now. But by the way, yeah, everybody knows about the bureaucracy. Mamdani is making it part of his campaign platform to have a mom and pop czar to cut through that. He wants to model it after Philadelphia, I think, or Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. Okay, I'm like, by the way, Eric, if you knew that, yeah, everybody wants it to be, quote, complicated because that makes a giant filter that gives them plausible deniability to tell you no and to give all the prime stuff to the folk they want to give it to. So you get caught up in this big bureaucratic machine, and then and you get told, oh, that's just the way it is. Well, why the hell is it not stopping these other people? And it's not stopping them because that's how the game is rigged. While they're telling you that you're just not working hard enough. And as the indictments roll down, they're indicting folk, I guess if you get on the bad side of their little mafia cartel. Oh, well, you got to go. Let me jump over here on Zoom. Now, folks, if you're on Zoom right now, you can only be one of the folk who was instructed to call in, because if it's anybody else here, you might end up on a permanent vacation. So everybody heard what I had to say. I'll give you a few moments here to be up on Zoom. There's somebody named Adrian on Zoom here now, but I'm waiting for them. So if they're not, we're going to go ahead and give them a permanent vacation here. So if they stepped away from their phone or their computer or whatever, well, like I said, it might be the way they live the rest of their lives. So that might be a part of it. Okay. Next person who does, I'm just going to bring them on. And then if they're not the right person, oh, well, what do you know? Stupid tax. So, folks, that's what you get told. You get told that. You can be black in New York and you vote for folks and whatnot. And what I'm saying is that, and this is what goes on behind the damn scenes. And Eric Adams has nobody but himself to blame because he chose every one of these people. He chose them. These are the folks that he chose. So if you're going to choose these people, well, that's the way that that's going to go. It's going to go like that. If you're going to choose them. Okay, now, Adrian, were you instructed by my mods to call in?
Yes, I'm Yo88.
Okay, Adrian, and go ahead and tell us what's on your mind.
My thing is you can be right about everything you said about Amanda Seales, but it seemed like you kind of did some, like she did after that, she told him to sit down, and then she went on a screed or a monologue about, I'm not going to let y'all immigrants come over here and talk about our experience. And she could probably be playing that Pan-African role. So I'll do the whole tether talk, but at the same time, she did kind of point out the difference between his immigrant background, and you cut it off like right before she did that.
Clearly, you did not watch the entire beginning of the program.
I watched the entire video.
Okay. Because if you did, I've already debunked that, sir. So the first thing is that the moment that boy started running his mouth, he as soon as he said his folks from Angola, first of all, she didn't even ask him. You could take a look at him. Just looking at him, you can see something he ain't right. And she didn't say a word. And so when she asked, where are you from? She just meant what state he was from. She was not interested in pursuing a lineage line of discussion. And then when he said that, he's like, well, where I'm from? And he's like, yeah, I'm from Florida. And she was like, no, what state are you from? She did not ask where your people from, even after he said, my folks are from Angola. And even when he was going on all that you guys stuff, she didn't sit there and when he said that, she didn't say, well, that explains it. She just flops her hands around. My point is she did not seize on that. That was the moment right then, right there. She did it with the other girl from claiming Nigerian heritage. She did the same thing there. That was not anything you had to wait for. That was nothing to wait for at all. When he said that right then, oh, that's it. The conversation's over. Right then. And she did not make an issue of it. She did not make an issue of his lineage, not at all.
And that's my thing. I can respect your expectations of her. I can respect the fact that you want her to jump on it instantly. I don't co-sign her being the spokesperson for Black Americans. However, she's like, as that video continues, she says, I'm not gonna let anybody from Angola, Grenada, whatever, talk about the experience. Like, she was like, we're the diaspora. We gotta respect each other's like history and stuff like that. And so like I can respect what you're saying so far as what we expect from
okay, folks, we're going to take a very brief diversion here because what he just said, you didn't let the whole thing play. See, if you had, it would change the context of it, is what he's trying to say. And
I'm just saying
okay, now he's backing off of it. Okay,
he said that.
You just said that. Okay, so what you're saying is that whatever you're claiming that she just said there, which I'm going to play here in just a moment. So you said that to say that it would change the context of things of how I characterized it. So is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, if you're saying that she didn't mention it at all, then yes.
First of all, I did not say that she did not mention those things. What I'm saying is you all are trying to corrupt what that meant. She said the words, where are you from? She was talking about what state he was from. She was not interested in pursuing a lineage conversation at all, as evidenced by the fact that when he told her she was from Angola, she stopped. She did not follow up with the obvious immediate, well, how are you speaking on these things? How are you going to talk to the American social order? When she asked about his neighborhood, she did not say, oh, are they Angolan immigrants too? She was on the black thing which is exactly what I said. But you know what, folks? We're going to take a very brief diversion here, since he has made the assertion that somehow we didn't give it enough, or, well, if you let it, Jason, let them talk. I've been doing this for summers and winters, people. You think folk would be smart enough not to try this, but you know what? We're going to let them talk. Fair use, Jubilee, fair use.
Ever do that?
KTS
Who is you guys?
Members of the black community that want to hold people accountable, especially black people. So KTS was shot 60 times outside of Cook County, Chicago. How many BLM members came out? You earlier said BLM is about police.
Stop referring to me as you guys.
Okay, that's fine. So, for example, we had a really good example of this where it's not a police, because I remember you said...
Where are you from?
Where am I from? What do you mean by that? Like, what state am I from? Where was I born?
Where do you live right now?
I live in Florida. I was born in Angola, though.
Okay, that was the first one. She said, where are you from? She was not asking about lineage. She wasn't going in that direction. She wanted to know what state he's from. And when he clarified, well, what do you mean by that? Where do you live? So that's strike one.
Born in sub-Saharan Africa, okay?
Then he volunteers a piece of information that she did not ask for, which lets me know that he does listen to the new black media, because he figured that she was going in that direction and she actually wasn't. I didn't say this last night because I figured somebody might try to jump up and defend this. But by the way, he said that because obviously he listens to us, and he was trying to intercept it because he was trying to act smarter than he is, which when you're young and rookie mistake. He tried to defend something she wasn't even going after. So guilty dogs bark. So he starts trying to defend something that she wasn't even going to go after because he thought she was going in that direction and she really wasn't.
Your time?
In Maine. I lived in North America.
In Maine?
Yes.
And what is...
I live in Florida. I was born in Angola, though. I was born in sub-Saharan Africa, okay?
Where did you grow up for most of your time?
In Maine. I lived in North America.
In Maine?
Yes.
And what is the population of black people in the town that you're from?
It's really extremely low, but I grew up around black people, and there was a black community where I lived.
And that black community that you lived in, did they teach you about black history in the United States?
Like,
are your parents black American?
Yeah, my mom is black. My father is black.
Okay, so strikes 2 and 3, by the way. Back to what neighborhood you in? Did they teach you about black history? That was the time to ask that right there. No, she did not want to go down that train of thought. And even here, where Toby got it wrong last night, I was like, by the way, even when he gets to this next part here, no, that's not what she was trying to do here either. Just listen.
No, I'm asking, were they born in the United States?
No, because I wasn't born there.
Oh, so you guys are all from Angola?
Yes. But again, like I told you earlier, right?
Okay, you all just saw it. So she said, oh, you're all from Angola. Yeah, he already said that. So she brings up, oh, so you and your parents, all of y'all are from Angola. And she stopped right there. Strike 4. This is not a mistake. So far, I found 4 strikes within less than 60 seconds, teed up in front of her like wiffle ball, and she didn't touch any of them because she did not want to start following that train of thought. That was not what she wanted. So even when the subject matter was presented to her on a single silver platter, she refused to follow it. So this is the 4th time I've shown you that. If she wanted to, why the hell didn't she? And that's because, as I said before, she realizes when she already said where she comes down on it. Now, to address the young man on Zoom here now, we're going to go ahead and let it keep playing beyond that because he says there's a game changer in here.
Community that you lived in, did they teach you about black history in the United States?
Like,
are your parents black American?
Yeah, my mom is black. My father is black.
No, I'm asking, were they born in the United States?
No, because I wasn't born there.
Oh, so you guys are all from Angola?
Yes. But again, like I told you earlier, right? In terms of people like KTS, they were shot. BLM doesn't come out for them. And I remember you earlier said, hold on, can I please finish? You earlier said that BLM is worried about police, but when Daniel Penny choked out the man that we all know was causing violence on that subway train.
He was not causing violence.
He was threatening people.
Causing disruption is not causing violence.
He was threatening people.
Causing disruption is not causing violence.
And the people there helped him also. And we know that we helped them.
By the way, you can see this Jubilee folk with their fact check here. So these suspected white supremacist YouTube channels and stuff. Just if you don't let people talk, you don't realize what their agenda is. So their agenda is very, very clear. They did it with this, with slavery. They were talking about indentured servitude for one of their fact checks. What? So, by the way, if you're depending on their quote fact checking, you're going to be the most ignorant person in the room. So do not assume that they are fair and unbiased. They are absolutely suspected white supremacists. Absolutely.
I don't know what that has to do with BLM. Random people on a train is not Black Lives Matter.
BLM showed up for that. They did.
Showed up for what?
BLM showed up threatening white people, saying that they were going to go get white people. Now they
BLM
did.
protested.
BLM New York.
BLM protested. Where did you get that from? You see, your sources are not. You're not able to cite your sources.
In
Please
New York.
go sit down.
Yeah, that's the truth.
It's not the truth. It's not the truth. It's not the. Nothing you say is actually the truth.
So you see, Jubilee is trying to make a fact out of it, but I just wanted you all to see that there. So next time you hear about them, if they try to make you think that they're unbiased or something, absolutely not.
Nothing you say is actually the truth. Nothing. You're not even American. You're not even a Black American. As the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative that Black people.
What? Damn. Nigga, what?
Nigga, what?
Where are you, Adrian? There you are. Unmute yourself.
Yes.
Now, do you really want me to let this keep playing?
Let him talk,
because you told me to let it keep playing, and you swore there was going to be a game changer in here of context. You swore now you already said the context was Jason is missing context because you won't let it play. And I'm like, did you hear what she just said?
This
okay, did you hear what she just said?
Yes, I heard.
Because this is the context of it, and you still want to play. You still want me to let it roll?
Yes.
Okay. All right, folks. Jason, let them talk. See what it is. If you let her just keep speaking, she'll talk their way out. All right.
As the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative that Black people from other places understand the disparate difference that they exist from Black people in the United States. It is not the same. Period. And ultimately, the best effort that we can do as a diaspora is to lead in understanding, not in judgment. So when I am talking to somebody from Sudan, from the Congo, from Angola, I am listening to understand their experience, not to undermine it. And I refuse to allow anybody from Grenada, from Angola, from any other place to come and try to undermine the experience of Black Americans.
Where is he at? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, that was her way of trying to sound like the new Black media. Like
that was her attempt at homogenization.
Yes, that was her attempt.
Yeah, we all Africans.
I said that she's a bad representative. However, that was her way of trying to like steal the talking points, like how you're saying. But she mentioned the difference between Black Americans and Black immigrants. Okay, but you're saying that she identified them as immigrants. That is not the same as clarifying why they're saying the garbage they're saying. Okay.
When you say where your people from, that's a pretext to, as I've said it a bunch of times, as I said, you didn't listen from the program, you didn't listen yesterday. I said, when I say where your people from, so that explains why you saying the foolishness you saying. This explains why you got somebody's little teenage chappy up here talking stupid. When I say where your people from, it's like, that's why you're saying that nonsense. Not to identify you as an immigrant. This identifies why you're off code. You saying silly coonish stuff, this identifies that. So when he was at the table and he said, my folks from Angola, first of all, because he was already up the first time talking about reparations. Here they were talking about white supremacy, basically, and race. But he was sitting up there before when she talked about reparations. Well, this is the time for her to say, who are you to speak on our reparations? Y'all folk from Angola. Didn't say that. Miss Master's degree in African American Studies from Columbia University. So it's not that her memory's not good. No, and when she did get up to speak, as I said, all she's talking about is diaspora. And we're not talking about a diaspora. So that she did exactly what I said. She did not bring this to a foundational Friedman context. She talking about, y'all can't come over here and be talking about us because you got a different experience. Okay, yeah, we know that. But that also is what delegitimizes not just their position, but everything they're saying. Hey, dude, you got no grounds to talk. How you going to speak on our reparations? How are you going to speak on black folk and black on black crime and what you should do? And to him talking about he's not a victim. Dude, you're not even from the soil. You're too clownish to realize you're a victim from Angola, which is why your folks had to flee and run. She didn't say that. And by the way, she would never say those words. She would never say to him that you all had to flee, because then she thought, we point out what I said last night. By the way, Amanda, your folks had their track shoes on too. While she was given the immigrant myth last night. So I covered all of this. No, she didn't change it. No, that's not different. No, she didn't ask him where you from in the context of where your people from. She said, where you from, which state you from. She did not want to talk about the issue is, oh, y'all are off code and saying white supremacist ass kissing stuff because of your lineage. She didn't say that. All she did was, oh, well, those of you who are from these other places here, y'all can't come here and be talking like that because we all want people. No. That's not what makes it an issue. That's not the issue. The issue is you off code as hell. And you are not legitimate to speak on any of this. Not your view is wrong. You're not legitimate to speak. So thank you for claiming you black conservatives, but dude, you from Angola. Who the hell are you to try to educate us about, quote, black conservatives? First of all, you ain't old enough to talk about it. You're not even old enough to speak on this, but furthermore, you don't even have your family hasn't been here long enough to talk about the system of American racism. And your Angolan lineage in his case, because he's off code. Oh, that explains why you're off code. All you folks sitting around her, you're off code, and that lineage is the linchpin that explains the off code bootlicking ass kissing thing. What she just did there, you are mistaken wagging her finger for doing what I was doing. This is not about finger wagging. And y'all need to respect me. I'm not talking about you need to respect anything she's saying. Y'all are off code and ass kissing. And when you told me your folks from Angola, oh, that explains it. By the way, if you go back and watch it, you claim you did. Well, when he said that, that's why I said, you see, before she flopped up her hands when you said that, as if to gesture, well, that explains it. And I said, yeah, why didn't she say it? Then why didn't she say, well, that explains it? Because she's very well aware of what we've said and she knows the context of it. She didn't say it because she knew what would happen next. They're going to make a one-to-one comparison of their immigrant background to hers and then say, who are you to sit up here and speak down about immigrant lineage? Ain't you one of us? And she already surrendered that ground when she said, and she said it twice, as the proud daughter of an immigrant. And that's the other thing, brother. That's why I stopped you to say before, do you really want me to let this keep playing? Because all of it's illegitimate when she says, I'm speaking to all of you as the daughter of an immigrant. Brother, that don't put them in their place. An immigrant cannot put other immigrants in their place except to the extent of being off code from where they're from. Only those of us from the soil can put an off-code immigrant in their place in the context of the American social order of white supremacy. Who the hell are you to talk to a person from the soil? I speak to you as a foundational freedman, not as an immigrant. So that's why I said, brother, do you hear what she just said? Because that's the context of it. She literally told you the next words out of my mouth will be from my authority as an immigrant. You ain't got no authority. Any authority you have is under our blanket, under our umbrella. You don't have any authority. Which was my whole point. If she had claimed being one of us and stood on it, that gives you authority. So she's trying to cosplay and channel some inner foundational energy. And she's trying to channel our authority and speak with our authority while not claiming it. That's the problem. And she wouldn't do it because she wants it both ways, which is exactly the issue we got. Folk coming over here, they want the benefits of our work and labor, but then when they get around white folks, you know I'm not like them. So they want to be in when it's convenient and out when it's convenient. And that's what she just did. And I'm like, dude, do you really want me to let this keep playing? Because that's what she's saying. At no point was she speaking as one of us. So I've given you all the whole explanation of why that is. No. And one more thing, this is why it's important for us to have a forum like I put up here, because otherwise y'all would have gotten taken by that. And a lot of you did, because when we talk about trick bag language, the white supremacists are not the only ones who utilize trick bag language meant to entice you to assume something. You all heard her, Toby heard her say, "Where you from?" And I'm just saying, dude, can you be this dense? She said, "Where are you from?" And did you even listen to anything? She said, "Where you from?" So there's, like I said, there's some folks who they kind of hate listen, y'all. It's like, "Jason, you wrong, nigga, you wrong. Finally got him." Okay. And she literally right after that said, "No, what state?" Literally right after that said, "What state? Where do you live?" So that's her, she's telling you the context of it. And she realized, I could get him if I stand on FBA business. I could get him. Oh, but I don't want to do that. Number one, because I don't identify that way. And number two, they will respond to me about my immigrant status. So she's trying to defeat them on our turf, but without our standing. And she knows that you all will hear that and give us some plausible deniability, Amanda. Give us something to work with, baby. Don't just leave us empty-handed. And that's why at the end, she upbraided them. Y'all need to watch how y'all talking, because she knew that fellas like yourself, no disrespect, would hear that and be like, "Oh, well, she didn't. Oh, that changes the context of it." No, it actually doesn't. So that was a political statement for your consumption. When you heard her say as an immigrant, that was all you needed to hear right there. And here's the other thing. If I'm wrong about that, please explain to me. With what authority does she as an immigrant get to chastise these other people about criticizing the diaspora or the behavior? How does where's her authority to do that? I can understand that from where she's from. She can criticize other Grenadians. How does she criticize them about the soil here?
I'm gonna try to answer that. I was thinking that under the B1 guys as Black first, so like somebody like I know like immigrant B1 that calls in, like people like him, he would have went through the expectation that you want. He would have called them out first. And as an immigrant, he would say that we as immigrants can't have this conversation. So I think there's a place for immigrants to check each other while in this place if they actually have a Black first mentality.
Right. And what she's doing is saying, I'm going to check you other immigrants on foundational terms.
Okay. Got you. No, I respect that.
And that was the whole point. Cleared up for you now?
Yes, that's why you do authority.
Thank you for giving us a call. By the way, a couple other folks, you've been instructed to give us a call too. You've been instructed to give us a call here too. Trick bag language, folks. We're talking about the war to control black politics. That's why I played this clip here, because this is about the war to control our politics. Trick bag language, these so-called sneaky academics. Mark Lamont Hill, Michael Eric Dyson and all the others, these little sneaky, shifty, shady academics. These people have been to these universities and they think they can use a bunch of legalese and trick bag language for the purposes of getting you to assume meaning and context that they did not actually say. So that you'll go around defending them even though that's not even what they actually said. Now, she knows she's misleading you. She knows that that's not the right context, but she knows that you're going to take it in that direction. She knows that's what she's doing, but she's like, okay, well, as long as that's useful, we'll see if that'll work.
Nothing you say is actually the truth. Nothing. You're not even American. You're not even a Black American. As the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative.
Yeah. Right then, right there, that's all the context you need. She is addressing you not as a member of the soil, but as an immigrant. So everything she says after that, you're assuming that she's addressing them on our terms, and she literally just told you, my next remarks are as an immigrant. Because the foundation is the only one who actually has the authority to speak. We're the only ones who actually have the legitimacy to speak on this. But she refused to envelop that because that's not where her real allegiances lie.
Nothing you say is actually the truth. Nothing. You're not even American. You're not even a Black American. As the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative that Black people from other places understand the disparate difference that they exist from Black people in the United States. It is not the same. Period. And ultimately, the best effort that we can do as a diaspora is to lead in understanding, not in judgment.
We already understand. Jason, why are you playing it again to get this part right here? We already understand. We already get it. We don't need clarification. We already got clarity. So she's talking to other members of her class and group about clarity and understanding. Baby, we already got understanding. We don't have to get together with them to achieve understanding. We already got it. We bled and died for it and continue, while these other sapsuckers are out here kissing ass and making excuses for the very folk who took over the places they came from and fled to a place that don't run. We already have clarity. By the way, the other people who were instructed to call in, there is nobody else on Zoom, so my mods can go ahead and remove them, since they have decided that they did not want to stand up and defend their words. Now they don't have to worry about it. And speaking of words, people, oh man, the folks out there trying to figure out how to talk. They're trying to figure out how to talk. They're trying to figure out how to talk to you. They want to know exactly how to speak to you here, and I got a lot I want to cover on this. The Democrats are being instructed about what the vocabulary needs to be. Yes, indeed, folks. They're talking about changing the vocabulary here, and it's not just a few things. This is the lesson that they've learned from the previous election. This is what they took away from it. Can we change the language? Now, those of us who understand Black politics, going back to the language discussion, I'm beating on this like a sledgehammer. If they're changing the language, does that change their goal? Are they changing their policies? Or are they merely saying, wait a minute, let's change the words that we package the policy with. Let's change the trick bag language that we're going to try to sell you the policy on. Let's bring you more deceptive language and see if we can squeak through yet one more election before you realize it was a bait and switch. That's the key critical point here. And we're going to get into that here shortly. Before we do, we're going to go ahead and take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break because we got a lot of terms to get through. It's not one or two people. I want you to see how devious this is going to be and how far this is going to be. There's also one feel-good story coming out of Detroit. There is actually a feel-good story coming out of Detroit although I don't want to be premature, but it might be something that makes you say, you know what, might be a chance to make a few things happen here in the meantime. Might be. Not 1,000% certain about it, but there may be an opportunity. We'll see about that. Before we do, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to Nancy King. Thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. To Ray the King. Are y'all related? Not really sure, but we'll just assume it. My man, Mr. Richburg. To Keenan, thank you very much for your support here tonight. To Andrew L. Thank you very much for checking in, brother. We appreciate that. Big shout out here to Logic Before Emotion. He's been giving out some memberships tonight. The gift that keeps on giving. Mrs. Majestic, B1 to you, James, Bernie Cole, and everybody else here. Thank you very much for your support right now. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break here. When we come back, people, the war for trick bag language. The Democrats have put together a think tank to specifically identify and analyze their language and see if they can come up with some different terms that we'll like better. Can't wait to see how this turns out. This is the Black Channel.
Did you know hip-hop is more than just music? It's a movement shaping the places we live, work, and grow. Rap Estate, hip-hop's influence on housing, community, and neighborhood development dives deep into how this powerful culture has become a force for change. From its roots in urban neighborhoods to its global impact, discover how artists like Public Enemy and Jay-Z use lyrical storytelling to spotlight issues like gentrification, economic justice, and affordable housing. This groundbreaking book uncovers the stories, struggles, and solutions inspired by hip-hop, turning beats and rhymes into blueprints for real change. Ready to see how hip-hop is rebuilding communities and empowering lives? Get your copy of Rap Estate today and join the movement.
Be the teacher, knowledge on the block. Got the kids learning, minds open like a lock. Books and skills from the east to the west. Bringing education, yeah, we're simply the best. Classes on fire, brains burning with desire. Innovation driving like a tire through the mire. Math, science, history, we got the whole range. Kids hitting new heights, teachers making a change. Used to be the teacher, stacking up the grades. Future bright shining, no need for no shades. Got the youth thriving, moving up the ladder. Smart and sharp, brains growing fatter. Lessons so lit, yeah, they stay in a blaze. Every mind sharp like a sword in the haze. Mr. B in the house breaking knowledge chains. Education kingpin, we repping the games. Mr. B the teacher.
The Honey Badger and the Mongoose is a children's story for the family of how a honey badger and mongoose fight an evil alliance of venomous cobra snakes and hyenas that overhauls the balance of the savannah. The Big Five. The honey badger demands reparations. Will the Big Five give the honey badger reparations? Can the evil alliance of cobras and hyenas be stopped? The best new price for the hard and soft cover is at www.thehoneybadgerandthemongoose.com. You can also find this book at Amazon, Audible, and Kindle.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And we are going to go over a story here from Politico to let y'all know just how far things are going out there. It's a story from Politico. Quote, the woke words Democrats should cut from their vocabulary. That's the story. And I'm not going to go over their whole article here because I really want to get into it. But what it tells you is that they got this group together called Third Way. This left-wing think tank called Third Way is circulating a list of 45 words and phrases they want Democrats to avoid using, alleging the terms put a, quote, wall between us and everyday people of all races, religions, and ethnicities. It's a set of words that Third Way suggests, quote, people simply do not say, yet they hear them from Democrats. Well, if you read the Politico article, you get some of them. But you don't get all of them, so I went over to Third Way's website to go take a look at their memo. Yes, I went over there to go take a look at it for myself. And it says, quote, to all who wish to stop Donald Trump and MAGA. So just in case you're wondering if they're actually center left, and that sounds really left right there, but to all who wish to stop Donald Trump and MAGA. For a party that spends billions of dollars trying to find the perfect language to connect to voters, Democrats and their allies use an awful lot of words and phrases no ordinary person would ever dream of saying. The intent of this language is to include, broaden, empathize, accept, and embrace. The effect of this language is to sound like the extreme, divisive, elitist, and obfuscatory enforcers of wokeness. So notice they didn't even put in wokeness in quotes here. So just understand they didn't put wokeness in quotes. So that's your clue. They see wokeness as a, quote, problem. So that train's never late. If you're calling out white supremacy, you need to back off of that. To please the few, we have alienated the many, especially on culture issues where our language sounds superior, haughty, and arrogant. In reality, most Democrats do not run or govern on wildly out-of-touch social positions.
Nigga, please.
But voters would be excused to believe we do because of the words that come out of our mouths, words which sound like we're hiding behind unfamiliar phrases to mask extreme intent. Well, no, you're just using language intended to make people assume things and then turn around and say, well, that's not actually what I said. I didn't say black, I said people of color, underserved communities. In this memo, we're putting a spotlight on the language we use that puts a wall between us and everyday people of all races, religions, and ethnicities. They're all back again with the races, all races, religions, and ethnicities. Okay. These are words that people simply do not say, yet they hear them from Democrats. Finally, we are not out to police language, ban phrases, or create our own form of censorship. Okay, but then they're just telling you these words you shouldn't be using. But all right. Truth be told, we have published papers that have used some of these words as well. But when policymakers are public-facing, the language we use must invite, not repel, start a conversation, not end it, provide clarity, not confusion. Okay, whoever wrote this needs to learn about redundancy. All right, let's get to the words and phrases they think that Democrats should stop using. Therapy speak. These words say, I'm more empathetic than you, and you are callous to hurting other people's feelings. And the first word that they say that Democrats need to stop using is privilege. Damn! That's the first word that this Democrat think tank, of all the things they came up with, the first word that they say that Democrats need to quit using is privilege. Yeah, so for those of you who thought that this was going to be evenly balanced, well, Jason, I mean, they don't really mean it like you said saying right there. I mean, that's not exactly what they said there. That's exactly what they mean when you say that right there. Shouldn't be doing that right there. You jumping on that. Okay. These are not my words. These are theirs. And they're telling you the first word they like you to stop using is privilege. Now, people, is privilege some really arcane, esoteric term that people don't use every day? Folks, is privilege some really wonky jargon that people don't use every day? Because according to them, it is. So this can't be based on people don't use it every day. This is based on something else. Violence, as in environmental violence. Dialoguing. Othering. Okay, folks, it was the white supremacists on the right in the Republican circles who talked about othering. They're the ones who started that. So, all right. Triggering. Who doesn't understand triggering? Microaggression, assault, invalidation. Progressive stack. Okay, I don't know what that is. They're like a new steroid. Progressive stack. I don't get it. Centering. Okay. These are terms you hear on the right, but they want folks on the left to stop using it. Safe space. Oh, well, everyone knows what that means, what they're saying. So this is a list of terms that they consider to be a liability. Not because these are terms that people, quote, don't use and don't understand. So it's not that these are words that they think they understand. They're saying, oh, you shouldn't use these because we see these as divisive, extreme, divisive, elitist, obfuscatory. Oh, okay. That's what this list is really about. Hey, these are terms that might make other groups we're trying to appeal to uncomfortable. Oh, say it like that. When you say it like that, then all these, oh, now this makes a lot more sense. Holding space. I don't know about that one. Body shaming. Okay. Be aware of words proliferating in elite circles that have closed off open conversations and have made it uncomfortable for many people to engage in hard topics. Okay, so this is not that these are phrases folks don't use or words they don't use. You need to be careful. It might offend somebody. Okay. Now that we've cleared that up, that that's your real point and your real agenda, all right, now we can proceed. Since you won't be honest about why you're saying this, okay, let me clear it up for you. Seminar room language. This language says, I'm smarter and more concerned about important issues than you. Your kitchen table concerns are small. Subverting norms. This is academic speak. This isn't even seminar room. This is academic speak. Systems of oppression. Critical theory. Folks, these are your friends on the so-called left. These are your so-called friends on the left. The Democrats are getting together to regroup, and your friends on the left are telling you stop talking about privilege, systems of oppression, critical, somebody forgot the race, theory, any theory, damn it, any critical theory, period. There's only been one. Stop it. Everybody knows about critical race theory. Stop it. Yeah, stop it. Okay. Cultural appropriation. Postmodernism. That term's been around for decades, people. Overton window. Tucker Carlson uses that phrase all the time. Heuristic. I might give you that one, although anybody who has an antivirus or something, heuristic techniques have a point. Existential threat to climate, the planet, democracy, economy. When we use words people don't understand,
Nigga, what?
Studies show that the part of the brain that signals distrust becomes more active, undermining our ability to reach them. I understand all the words you just said here. I understand every word I just read, and I don't trust the person who wrote this now. I trust them not at all now that I've read it. So, folks, yeah, they said all this right here, and then they tell you, oh, well, these are words, you shouldn't use them because these are words people don't understand. They understand these just fine. So as I said, they're here to bring you more trick bag language, and let's see if we can jumble up the trick bag language bag and pull out something different, or better yet, just tell you stop using these words. Oh, well, people won't understand what you mean. So we need to find a different word that we're already using because people don't understand what you mean when you say systems of oppression and critical theory and critical race theory. They don't understand what that means. Then how are they voting against it? How are they voting against it if they don't understand it? Very clearly, they do understand it. And so do these people at Third Way. Organizer jargon. These words say, we are beholden to groups, not individuals. People have no agency. Radical transparency. Small d, democracy. Barriers to participation, you mean like racism? Stakeholders, the unhoused, food insecurity, housing insecurity, people who immigrated. So once again, I couldn't help but notice a disproportionate part of this seems to be aimed at the usual suspects. Democrats can fight for the poor, the hungry, the homeless, and immigrants more effectively if they speak in everyday language and in the language of those most affected by these issues. Gender orientation correctness. These say your views on traditional genders and gender roles are at best quaint. Birthing person / inseminated person. Okay, this is when your academic people at colleges stay up too late at night smoking weed. Pregnant people. Chest feeding. What? Cisgender, dead naming, heteronormative, patriarchy, LGBTQIA, plus, minus, divided, multiplied. Standing up to MAGA's cruel attacks on gay and transgender people requires creating empathy and building a broad coalition, not confusing or shaming people who could otherwise be allies. The shifting language of racial constructs. Okay. These words signal that talking about race is even more of a minefield. You will be called out as racist if you do not use the latest and correct terminology. It's latest slang is what you mean. We don't need slang over here on our side. Latinx, BIPOC, so people of color, black indigenous people of color, allyship, intersectionality, minoritized communities. As we fight racism and discrimination, we should reflect upon whether the words we're using are part of the reason Democrats are losing support from all non-white voter groups. We must know when to take a step back and listen instead of peppering our websites, fundraising asks, and newsletters with sociology buzzwords. Explaining away crime. This says, quote, the criminal is the victim. The victim is an afterthought. Justice involved, carceration, incarcerated people, involuntary confinement. People deserve to feel safe where they live, work, and go to school, and we can't defend the progress we've made on criminal justice reform or hope to make more unless we acknowledge that reality in plain terms. Conclusion. Some will take issue with the inclusion of words or phrases we ask Democrats to avoid when talking to the public. And to reiterate, we have used some of these phrases in our own writings in the past. Before you draft your angry tweet thread, think about conversations with persuadable voters in your own life, especially friends, family, and coworkers, and consider whether the use of the language above would help or hurt your case. Recognize that much of the language above is a red flag. for a sizable segment of the American public. It is not because they are bigots. Damn! It is not because they are bigots, but because they fear cancellation, doxing, or trouble with HR if they make a mistake. Or they simply don't understand what these terms mean and become distrustful of those who use them. So instead, they keep quiet. They don't join the conversation, they leave it. Yes, that's absolutely correct, like we're about to do. So I wanted you all to hear the whole vocabulary that they gave out so you can hear clearly the context in which they meant it. And they wanted to make sure that if you didn't make it any further down their little screed, that the first word you need to stop using is privilege. Well, there's only one group of folk who talk about privilege, are the only people who actually have that. Interesting. So the Democrats are being encouraged to retool their vocabulary. And of course, you know who the target is. Well, after hearing all that right there, I know you all could use a good pick-me-up. So I'd like to take you back out here to Detroit. There's a story out of Detroit. Found this to be very interesting. This will be, by the way, fair use, WXYZ TV Detroit. Dealt with you all before. Fair use. And listen to this story here.
Some stories are difficult to tell, especially when they touch on alleged intimidation and racial profiling. Well, the world remembers the tragedy of Trayvon Martin, a young boy shot and killed while walking through a neighborhood carrying nothing more than a bag of Skittles. Tonight, 7 News Detroit anchor Carolyn Clifford is digging into a dispute between a retired police detective from Detroit and a Livonia resident after an encounter inside a condo complex left both men pointing fingers.
Marcellus Ball spent...
What the hell kind of news story is this? Oh, girl, here, baby, you shouldn't have let them white folks, if those are their words, not yours, you don't let them put them words in your mouth. By the way, where the hell are your people from? What? By the way, I'm looking at that nose on her. Where are your people from? I don't think that's just contouring. I'm like, okay. I got questions. I'm just a little curious. I got questions. I don't know, baby. You're looking iffy. And that is looking kind of iffy. I'm looking at your hair and stuff. This is kind of iffy situation, but leave both of them pointing fingers. When you all hear the details, you all will get to tell me whether or not you think this is a both of them are pointing fingers situation.
Inside a condo complex left both men pointing fingers.
Marcellus Ball spent 35 years with the Detroit Police Department, retiring as a detective, honored at the White House. But earlier this year, while searching for a condo in Livonia, he says he faced something he never expected.
Get out of my face.
This is a private
I
street
know
here.
what it is.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
If you knew, you wouldn't be here.
I'm in law enforcement, so I know what I'm doing.
Law enforcement. I see your badge.
Ball says 51-year-old Edward Dombrowski confronted him, questioning why he was there.
Basically was racial profiling me. And he was telling me, what was I doing over here? You don't live here. We don't want you here.
Get out of here.
No.
Get your car out of here.
Feeling uneasy, Ball began recording. He says Dombrowski had a knife in his pocket.
Right through here where I could see it.
Something confirmed on a 911 call. By the time police arrived, Dombrowski had walked away and Ball was told to leave. Later, police asked Ball if he wanted to press charges, but without a name, he posted the video online. It quickly drew hundreds of responses.
Get out. You can't case our neighborhood then.
Goodbye.
It's not for sale.
Goodbye.
Not for sale.
Goodbye.
When we met Ball...
Did you get that? You can't case our neighborhood. Well, somebody looking to do something illegal is, quote, casing something. And then says it's not for sale. Well, sir, a person casing a neighborhood isn't there to buy anything. So your issue is, yeah, he's on the white supremacist. This is our neighborhood thing.
It's not for sale.
Goodbye.
Not for sale.
Goodbye.
When we met Ball back at the complex for an interview, Dombrowski walked right up. When we asked Dombrowski why he confronted Ball...
Oh, you're talking about the bold suspected white supremacists here. I can't even say suspected, by the way, because you're talking about the bold white supremacists here. I know some parts of Detroit, and this was a hellified bad idea. I can name some parts of Detroit where this is a hellified bad idea. South Side. Do I need to go on? I can name some parts of Detroit. Horrible idea. You better be glad you in that little HOA neighborhood you in there, because I know some parts of Detroit that, you would never want to, this is not the move whatsoever.
His answer pointed to suspicion.
Why would you feel so hostile towards someone like Marcellus Ball pulling up into your condo complex?
Well, Marcellus didn't have a very cogent story to offer me about his presence here with his Volvo.
Dombrowski admits he always carries a knife, but denies showing it to Ball. Still, he acknowledges confronting others before, including an African-American food delivery driver.
Well, as a matter of fact, one of the delivery people came through. His name was Ezekiel.
Ezekiel?
Yeah, of African-American descent.
Mm-hmm. And you confronted him?
Yeah, I did. It was at 2 a.m.
And you have an association, right?
Mm-hmm.
The association, are they okay with you confronting people?
They're absolutely blindsided by Marcellus.
So he's just on some I'm white and I say so. Even the Homo Association, he admits, no, they don't allow this. So in other words, George Zimmerman. By the way, speaking of the immigrant class, who are the most ardent supporters. So, yeah, by the way, there's that.
Reached out to the Villas Condo Association. By email, they told us Dombrowski has no authority to confront anyone.
Yeah, by the way, they talked to the HOA and they said, yeah, by the way, you ain't supposed to be doing that. Just like George Zimmerman. The association does not encourage or condone residents confronting others within the condominium. If residents are concerned about their safety, they should be reporting those concerns to the Livonia Police Department. Not walking around thinking you're a vigilante with a knife in your pocket, which, by the way, if he had a weapon, according to Daniel Penny's supporters, him having that weapon in his pocket is threatening, and therefore you can use any and all force, including lethal, since he has a weapon on him. So all the Daniel Penny supporters, by the way, he could have used any level of force he wanted to stop Dombrowski the dummy because, he has a weapon. Well, he is clearly a threat. He is clearly harassing. Therefore, he could have used any amount of force he wanted to stop him, including lethal. Even if he doesn't touch him. Touching him is not required. If you are a verbal threat, if you're verbally threatening, that's all you need. And the fact that he's confirmed with a weapon on him, he's got a knife, that's it. All the check boxes have been checked. You are cleared to land. Now, folks, wait till you watch this next part, because this is going to look like something out of Law and Order. Wait till you see the next part.
Has no authority to confront anyone. The Wayne County prosecutor charged him with disorderly person and disturbing the peace. We were there for his first court appearance.
Nigga, what?
Your Humpty eyes do not deceive you. I'm going to let the rest of it play, but your Humpty eyes do not deceive you.
Confront anyone. The Wayne County prosecutor charged him with disorderly person and disturbing the peace. We were there for his first court appearance.
That is a misdemeanor punishable by anything from probation and fines and costs to a maximum of 93 days incarceration, or 90 days incarceration. I apologize.
Now, you might be wondering how he ended up in this unusual series of events with this particular lawyer. I'm going to let it keep playing, but I wanted that to sink into you for a moment. So it's a story to it, so you're going to hear it first, then you're going to find out what happened.
The Wayne County prosecutor charged him with disorderly person and disturbing the peace. We were there for his first court appearance.
That is a misdemeanor punishable by anything from probation and fines and costs to a maximum of 93 days incarceration, or 90 days incarceration, I apologize, and or a $500 fine.
His court-appointed attorney said he was...
Damn! What? Yeah, folks, he didn't choose his attorney. No, he's got a court-appointed attorney. Yeah, that's what I was telling y'all. I wanted to let that sink in for you because I know what you would be assuming. You were assuming all kinds of things, weren't you? When you first saw the two of them together, you were assuming all kinds of things. And I just wanted to let y'all assume it right quick. But by the way, he got him a public defender. Yeah, he's got that. Yeah, this fella in these so-called manicured neighborhoods, and you all just make all kinds of assumptions about how these folk living, and you just assume he's going to be walking in there with white lawyers and pinstripe suits. And this, by the way, he's unhappy because whiteness ain't working out for him. Clearly, it's not working out for him. And instead of him getting his act together, he's like, well, damn it, I'm white, so at least I've got somebody I can persecute. Even if I am unwilling or incapable of making my situation better, the system says I've got other people I can persecute to make myself feel better about where I am. And that is institutional racism. As Lyndon Baines Johnson said, as long as the lowest white man feels like he's better than any black person, he won't demand anything else from us. And you're looking at it in action. Rather than him getting his life together, he wants to go find somebody he can persecute and oppress because he figured the system would back him up. And then he woke up and was like, I'll be damned. Did you ever? This is like the start of a movie. I bet you all are wondering how I ended up here. We know exactly how you got here.
We were there for his first court appearance.
That is a misdemeanor punishable by anything from probation and fines and costs to a maximum of 93 days incarceration, or 90 days incarceration, I apologize, and or a $500 fine.
His court-appointed attorney said he was suffering from a mental illness, was off his medication, and undergoing anger management.
Nigga, what?
Nigga, please.
Yeah, folks. Shout out to Brother Paul Mooney. When you black, you don't get to play the mental illness card. Ain't that right, Jordan Neely? When you're black, you don't get to play the mental illness card. This guy's got a track record. Well, I got mental issues. I'm off my meds. I'm like, brother, I don't know if you're doing your Johnny Cochran routine. The brother's doing the best he can. The brother didn't walk in there with nothing. The brother walked in there and said, I'm going to do the best I can with this mess you giving me.
90 days incarceration, I apologize, and or a $500 fine.
His court-appointed attorney said he was suffering from a mental illness, was off his medication, and undergoing anger management. That's when Livonia's 16-court district judge Paul Bernier fired back.
If this is true, anger didn't provoke you to go up to that man and say the things you did and try to keep him out of your neighborhood. That wasn't anger, that was racism.
For Ball.
Now, that right there is the kind of thing that makes a difference. When, folks, you want to know how you stop white supremacy? Easy, you punish it. You don't wait for them to find the love of Jesus. You don't retrain them. You don't try to rationalize with it. If you want to stop white supremacy, it's very easy. You punish it when it happens. When they walk in and realize there isn't a system that will back them. He did this, as I said from the beginning, because he assumed there was going to be a system that was going to back him. Because it has every other time. He did this because he's done it a bunch of times before, and the system backed him. White supremacists had his back. The system had his back. If he doesn't do it again, it's because of this experience where he rolled the dice this time, and the system didn't have his back because he made the news. By the way, isn't it amazing? Put some television cameras there to record what happens. All of a sudden, the system is like, okay, he's expendable. He's disposable. Now he can be thrown under the bus because, you see, he was too blatant and overt with it. Not because the system has changed. He was too overt with it. So now he has become expendable. When he's self-admitted, he's done it before. So you want to stop white supremacy? Let this keep happening here. Let them walk in and you see a system of justice. If you want to stop white supremacy, show them, don't tell them, show them that there is a system of justice, not a system of white supremacy, and it will stop. Because they're depending on systemic racism to back them. When they see that the system of systemic racism is gone, next thing you know, they're not gonna try it anymore. And this is their greatest fear come to life, that racism is a systemic problem. And if you can break that system, the machine it slams to a halt. And by the way, you can look at his damn face. He got plenty of damn act right, don't he?
Go up to that man and say the things you did and try to keep him out of your neighborhood. That wasn't anger, that was racism.
For Ball, justice is simple.
Has justice been served yet?
It's on the way. Justice is a process, and this is just part of the process. The judge set a court date.
And my issue here, people, is that I'm not satisfied with it. When we talk about we need black hate crime laws, it's because you don't have Asians with stories like this. You don't have any Asians with stories like this. Matter of fact, the Asians, unfortunately, in many cases, they're imitating the white supremacists. So when we talk about the need for black hate crime laws, this is why. Right here. This right here. He shouldn't be charged with disturbing the peace. Remember what I told you all, we need to have a law that says, hey, you can't make false allegations and then make that a felony. All of a sudden, they're going to be thinking 5 and 6 and 7 times about trying to extend their white privilege, ain't that right, third way. They're going to think a bunch of times more before they attempt to exercise that. My problem I have with this story is that if we actually had real laws, it would deal with this differently. And then all of a sudden, it just happened to one of them. The word don't get around quick. I'm talking about quick. It's going to get around. Okay, don't do that anymore. Yeah, it's no longer safe to practice white supremacy like that. Don't do that anymore. So up there in Detroit, that's going down. By the way, do you think the brother should give this fella here the white public defender treatment?
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Y'all know when black folk, you got the white public defender. You ain't never had Matlock. You watch them damn television shows and whatnot. The white public defender is sitting there with the damn police eating a sandwich, talking about how much time they're going to negotiate for you to serve. Okay, we got a plea deal for you. It's like, okay, now, I was able to plea bargain you from a third degree misdemeanor to a first degree felony. What? And you could go home in 90 days, or you could, get off here with 90 days probation, but I plea bargain you to a year behind bars. What? Y'all know how that one goes. The public defender is sitting there like, you done watch 8 white folk walk out the damn courtroom with no time or nothing. He's sitting there talking to you about the plea bargain is for the same thing they just did. We plea bargaining you for some time. That's the plea bargain? So you had to put together your legal eagle expertise to get me time? So in any case, the public defender's trying to figure out how to get out of there by lunch. He's trying to figure out how to be out of the courtroom by lunch. So it's just, okay, let me hear you. I know you was jaywalking here. We think we can get you a year and 5 years probation. So do you think the brother should give him the damn treatment there? Because old boy looking like he's serious. Like that's what I'm saying. It looks like something from Law and Order. They always had the well-dressed black attorneys and stuff. They look serious. I mean, so the brother don't look like he's shabby. He doesn't look like he just rolled out of bed or up from under a bridge. So he looks like he's ready to do law work. He looks like a legal professional, and that's good. He might be the worst lawyer in Detroit. I don't know. but at least he looks presentable. So his client, not so much. But yeah, just like, should he do that, y'all? Should the brother just be like, man, look him, let the dogs have you? I know full damn well his heart sank when he walked up in there, don't you think? I know he's hoping this brother don't watch the news. What? Y'all know what he's thinking. I hope this fella don't. I hope my public defender doesn't watch the news, because if he does, he knows why I'm up in here. And you know what your people would do. We know what your people would do under these circumstances. Yeah, we know what your folk would do. So I know when he walked in that damn courtroom and saw who it was, and he had to get up from his seat. Oh, don't you know his little old heart just sank? Oh, man. He was sitting there and stuff when he saw the public defender walk by. I know he's thinking to himself, well, you know, I don't know who that black dude is, but where's the real public defender? He saw the black fella walk by. Like, that can't be for me. Oh, there's no way he's for me. Where's the real public defender? Surely he's just running late. Your Honor, I think there's been a mistake. The public defender you assigned to me, I think there's just been a mistake. My defender is late. You might want to call him or text him, and he might be stuck in traffic, Your Honor. Can y'all imagine what this conversation was? All right, Mr. Dombrowski. Yes, sir, soul brother. I mean, sir. No, I know. What have you been charged with? Disturbing the peace, you know. It's just bullcrap charge, you know. I ain't hurt anybody. It wasn't violent. Understand. Can you quickly just tell me what were the details of it? Okay. Well, there was this gentleman who came driving through my neighborhood. Okay. And he looked suspicious.
Nigga, what?
I mean, folks, I'm just saying he's not going to make it very far. When he starts giving the details, there's not very much you can say. He was walking, driving in my neighborhood, and I didn't like the look of it. Okay. What did he look like? Mr. Dombrowski? Sir, I asked you a question. Why are you sweating all of a sudden? Sir, can you describe him? Can you tell me what it was that looked suspicious? Mr. Dombrowski? Hello? Yes, yes, can you? Sir? Well, you see, I mean, y'all, can y'all imagine what that conversation went like? How does that conversation go? When he had to get past that part, well, they say I was racially profiling him. Do tell. Can you feel me? Y'all know how it is. At that moment right there, that's where you cross your leg and put your arm up on the pew there and be like, oh, really? Tell me more. Oh, you were racially profiling. Oh, tell me more. Sir, do you need more time with your client? Oh, no, we'll be right there with you, Your Honor. This will go quick. Can y'all imagine that? I was racially profiling. Tell me more. No, give me all the details. So I'm just saying, y'all, can you imagine what that conversation was like? You thought you had a rough week. You thought you had some awkward moments with some people this week. Not nearly as much as Dombrowski here, so it's nothing like that. So this is the feel-good story of the week out of Detroit. Detroit, keep your head up, stay on code, get your cameras out, stay on code. You never know what the hell's going on. And by the way, this image on your screen right here, this is their worst damn nightmare. Black people every day go walking through court systems where from the second you're arrested to the second that you go home, you never encounter another black person. Much less your fate being in another black person's hands. White folk, I mean, this is a culture shock right here. It's like, yeah, brother, you racial profiling and we got your black attorney right here. Oh, well, welcome to our side of the world. Welcome to how things happen for us. Yeah, this is the way it usually goes down for us. So I'm like, oh, this will be interesting to watch. Where the hell's my popcorn? This will be fun. Let me go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom right quick. All right, to everybody who's been waiting over here on Zoom, I wanted to go ahead and cover that story here last year. Okay, I got Zoom user up here. All right, brother, what's on your mind?
Good evening, brother. This is Coach Leonard coming out of Dallas.
All right, brother, what's on your mind?
Well, going along with tonight's topic tonight, I feel like
now, brother, by the way, one more thing here. I want you to keep one thing in mind. I only allow people to call in one time per weekend, but you got broken up last night. So that's the reason why I'm going ahead and let you talk here. But in case you all were wondering why I'm letting him speak, is because his call he was in a bad spot last night. He was on the road. So he's not violating the one call per weekend. All right, go ahead.
Okay, sir. I've been working with Carmelo Anthony lately. He's, as we all know, he's going through a hard time right now. And the way they're treating this child is just absolutely reprehensible. And I introduced his father to your work. And after hearing your brilliant defense of his son, he was asking, could he have a chance to speak with you?
Sure, tell him email me.
What email would it be, sir?
TheBlackAuthority@yahoo.com.
Okay, it's gonna come under my name because naturally because of what's going on, they're moving a certain way. But I'll make sure to because I have videos and everything. We train them and everything, so this is not no game or anything. But after hearing your defense of his son, he really would like to speak with you.
Okay, well, tell him he can email me and we'll chop it up. I'll look forward to speaking to him.
Thank you, sir.
Just that quick, just that easy, folks. It's not a bunch of dancing around about it. If he wants to talk to me, we can talk. Not an issue. Also, they're in Ohio. All the black folk, they hemmed up for defending themselves against those Russian white supremacists. I want to do something about that too, folks. They hit one person with like $500,000 bail. So these white supremacists trying to be treacherous out there. So I want to do something about that too. So if anybody knows there are people up there, whatever, tell them get at me. If y'all know any of them folk up there in that regard, any of the defendants there that they trying to sit up here and persecute, I want to speak to them. So if anybody knows them, don't tell me about it. When you heard from somebody through the grapevine, do like this brother right here. If you talk to them, you get in touch with them, and all you got to do is hand them off to me. Don't give me here's a phone number, whatever. You talk to them first, and then that way all that's cleared up, and then they know all you got to do is hand them off to me. I'll take care of the rest. But definitely for my people up there and whatnot, I want us to go ahead and talk to them. They've been throwing a bunch of crazy numbers at these people, and I want us to go ahead and speak to them. So I want to talk to them. I want to talk to their people. When they find out that these folk are not coming by themselves, what killed them about Carmelo Anthony is Carmelo Anthony had folk behind him. He had backup on that. Systemic white supremacy, the only thing that really makes them back down is if they see another system. If they think you're going to be by yourself, they feel like, okay, we got the advantage. We can go ahead and do this. We can go ahead and carry out this lynching and nobody's really watching. It makes it more complicated when there are more eyes and more people moving and more people active on it. It makes things different. It complicates things. So if for any of y'all up there in Ohio, if you know them people, you got my email address. And by the way, this is only for people I've asked for. Anybody else understand how my email settings work? You will just get blocked. If I did not ask for it, don't send me emails and stuff like that. Jason, listen to my demo. If you just send me random emails, I block you. If I ask for it, I'll be on the lookout. If I didn't ask for you, don't think, "Ooh, good, Jason. Glad you got an email address." See, brother, what you need to know is that we are starting a farm out here in Kansas to fix the food desert. Okay, that's not what the email address is for. So just letting you know. All right, let me go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom right quick and see if we can get Brother Elijah up here on Zoom. Brother Elijah, what's on your mind?
Hey, B1 Big Brother.
Oh man, they got a big old rainbow heart behind you, man.
Yeah, you see nasty ass New York City.
Okay, I thought you was trying to tell me something there for a minute.
No,
I thought you had the announcement tonight.
Hey, brother, I listen. I understand it's the year 2025.
Well, you got his hairline done, got his teeth done. I thought you was about to make an announcement tonight. I'm about to say, brother Elijah, you went through all that work, and I'm like, hey, to each his own. To each his own. I'm not here to stop you.
No. Let me make this very clear. Hell fucking no. Excuse my language, big brother. I will die before I go to a lifestyle like that. No, not to the other practice.
Okay, brother. I don't know, brother. If Diddy drop a bag and invite you to the function, I don't know how it go.
I don't think so, no.
All right, brother. What's on your mind?
All right, big brother. Hey, thank you for tonight's broadcast. There was a few things. I'm not gonna monologue long.
I know you won't.
No, I'm not. I promise. But there were some things that I observed, especially in the first segment of the broadcast, how you brought up that crooked immigrant woman, because everybody clearly knows this is a Haitian immigrant and everything like that. And when you're talking about why we can't get nothing done, but I beg to ask the question: when you did a broadcast 4 years ago about those people, with all due respect, I'm not speaking to the audience. I'm not speaking of them like they're not human. But when you did a podcast about the Haitian brothers and sisters, the real question is, this is the reason why they can't get nothing done, big brother.
Very true.
Okay, no disrespect, because they, for the most part in New York City, they basically ethnically cleansed most of foundational Black Americans. We're still here, but we're basically relegated.
Well, I mean, look,
right.
here's the game plan, though, brother. You know how it is.
Yes,
so
sir.
Over there in Queens, that's where you got, your Caribbeans, especially a lot of the Haitians and whatnot. Queens is the spot for them over there. And their whole game plan, brother, I mean, the whole thing here is that their demands are not really demands. The whole issue with that Jubilee thing with Amanda Seals was that she had a whole damn table, a whole damn room full of folks surrounding them talking about we're not victims because we can get a job. The chick from claiming her folks from Nigeria. That's all she did. They can be I know some who are doctors, some who are lawyers. So their whole thing is there's no systemic racism because we can get a job. Right. And that is enough to satisfy them. So of course the power structure is bringing them over. That's all they demand. You give them a little old job, a little old position. They can buy some weed, buy some drink, and they're going to sit down. They are not interested in any systemic change whatsoever. They simply want better than they had back in Port-au-Prince. And you're done. So yeah, if you got a choice between them or between us, we're talking about trillions. Yeah, this is easy math to collate. But yes, also when their people do get into a position of quote authority or access, they give all the power and resources to everybody except their folk, right. as evidenced by this case.
Right, because hey, big brother, it's funny you and big brother Tariq. Y'all actually made similar points and everything like that. Because I'll never forget when Tariq called one of the immigrants out from leaving their country. They did not leave their country to do anything very spectacular. They left their homeland to come all the way up here just to get a damn job and everything like that. Instead of them being nurses or doctors in their homeland, they came all the way up here to a different tax bracket, knowing damn well their people are just as sick as up here. They came all the way up here to get a damn job, just to pay for the idea. They just say, I'm an American.
And here's the historic problem with it. Yes, the historic problem with it is that Dr. John Henry Clark talked about this decades ago. That the issue is that these folks who are off code, and Amanda Seals did not sit up here and check that because she off code too. But the problem is that Dr. John Henry Clark had told us in a system of white supremacy, buying you off is very easy. They will offer you anything you want. You want a house, you want a car, you want women, you want clothes. What is it you want? We will give you anything you want. so long as you concede the number one position to us. You can have anything you want as long as you accept being number two.
Yes, sir.
And that's the problem that we get into with folks. You're off code as hell because on your screen right now is a room full of folk who accepted the offer. Fine.
Yes,
well, they're not even number two. They're like number 102. And they're like, you know what? Deal. Sold. I'll take it. And
yes,
that's the difference.
And then listen, let me do a quick self-correct. You did make a great statement about why we can't get nothing done. Big brother, you said it right because there was another part to it. I've been in New York City my whole life and everything like that. And I think I mentioned this, but I'll say it again. Them immigrants, when they get into those powerful political positions, I have never once, even when I check the historic records, going back to Shirley Chisholm, okay? They have never advocated for something specific for foundational Black Americans here, brother. Not one. Okay, so yeah, you said it right. We can't get nothing done with these tethers at all. And then even Amanda Seals, can we just be very honest, big brother? You know, it's good that you're referencing her. That woman has been a joke since the mid-2000s. All right? She's not hot. She's not sexy. I'm not saying she doesn't look good. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying she's ugly. But she's not, let's just say, a lot of us men,
look, over the last decade, there was a little light-skin wave they had. You know, that's why I mentioned Amanda Seals and Angela Rye, you know, and what was her name? Jamila Lemieux. So there was a little wave for a minute there, some light-skinned chicks, and they were all looking to see if they could get on, and it never really popped. It never really happened. But they and the only reason they were given any access to media at all was because they were useful tools. They figured everybody else was going to hop behind the light-skinned person, and that train really got derailed over the course of the last 10 years. After Barack Obama, you thought you had a lane, and the ride is over, basically. I'll let you have the last word.
Hey, brother, look, I'm going to get on, and just for a quick correction, in the words of Professor Black Truth, it's Jamila Lemieux. Okay? Don't disrespect, brother.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. One more thing before I get any further. There's something else I want you all to see. Because you see, over here at the CBC PAC, in my function as the new black media, I'm watching all the foolery and nonsense so you all don't have to. The Congressional Black Caucus's PAC, you go down the page and whatnot. Oh, they're taking care of important things, people. They're taking care of important things. 14 hours ago, Representative Sidney Kamlager, Congressman, mother, grown-ass woman.
Oh, please.
So you have another wannabe Jasmine Crockett thought pocket. Can you just not sit up here and just represent with dignity? I guess you got to have it first. So I don't know. Maybe Kamala Harris, maybe Willie Brown has approved this one too. Maybe Willie Brown approved this one too. So in any case, yeah, that happened 14 hours ago. And then, of course, if you were wondering what was happening here, if you're wondering what this was all about, what you're seeing on your screen there, well, it was about that for a reason. It was about that for a reason. Because at the political update brunch.
Nigga, please.
Yeah, if you wonder what this was about, you know, this was the political update brunch. For a bunch of folks who done left they people starving, they sure do a lot of damn eating, don't they? Every time we turn around, these niggas got a drumstick in one hand and a drink in the other. And no results anywhere. But yet another damn brunch. So, yeah, she's the star of the brunch. Light skins on deck. Nothing, Jim. Hakeem Jeffries, need I say more? So yes, y'all, yet another brunch where all they do is feel you out for networking. See if you're a useful shill that they can employ. But that's all they're doing. I go through this and whatnot because you can see they've been sitting up here posting stuff. And then I came to this. Representative Janelle Bynum introduces Microplastic Safety Act. What? Despite anti-science opposition, members advance protective research legislation. Representative Bynum introduced the bipartisan Microplastic Safety Act, requiring FDA to study health risks. So even if they attempt to do the old lie, they're going to try to do and say, well, this help black folks too. This is just a study. This is just a study. Do you realize how many people in this war on black politics, do you realize how many people have made it their mission and their point to see how much noise they can throw into the spectrum? You realize how much noise they've decided is going to be a great idea to throw into the spectrum here? I want you to understand that. We have silly things happening. We got real issues, and this is what they're doing. We have real issues going on out here, and this is what these folks are doing. And then got the nerve, they're going to try to come back and tell you that, oh, we're doing something on your behalf here. Well, we're getting great, big, huge things done for you. Let them tell it. We're getting a lot taken care of for you. Well, I said all of that right there, but I would be remiss. I would be remiss if I did not give Miss Bynum a chance. Some folks like, Jason, you don't even know what she's about or whatever. I feel lucky, but you know what? Maybe she does need to be given a little bit more of an opportunity than that. So I went to her Twitter page. I went there and I think that we should give her an opportunity to address our concerns. And it just so happens that she is presenting a great opportunity here soon. Now, I understand it'll be on short notice, folks. I understand that. I understand it'll be on short notice. But if we have any people in the Washington State area, I believe she's from Washington State here. If you have anybody there, or it's Oregon, okay, or she's in Oregon. All right. She is hosting a town hall meeting tomorrow. What? Yes, sir. Monday, August 25th. Between 6 and 7 p.m., she has 1 hour of time at Malala High School to allow to her constituency. So glad she's hosting that. If anybody wants to know here, by the way, in addition, thank you for the microplastics thing, but Congressman Bynum is going to be hosting a town hall meeting. Give them hell. Give them reparations. Give them tangibles. That's the only hell we're looking for. So if she wants to really give them hell, give some tangibles. So to my people up there in Oregon, Representative Janelle Bynum is having an event tomorrow there. It might be interesting if some of y'all show up with cameras out. So you can ask her what she wants to do specifically for black people, specifically the foundation. But by the way, just find out if she's got any plans specific tangibles. Find out if she's got anything in mind and after all these years, you should be ready. As she talks about HR 40, tell her, no, ma'am, that's a study. And then remind her, you didn't give study to the Ukrainians. We want the same thing that Trump just gave Jewish people, 93 million. We want that. You all are giving direct financial payments to other people. You're giving direct financial benefits. You gave direct, ask her, first of all, you can ask about the illegals first. So she's going to be a big supporter of that. Yeah, we want what you gave the illegals, Ms. Bynum. You gave them direct cash. You gave them direct financial support. That is what is long overdue. So you can do it for them. I'm asking, what are your plans to do that for the folk who actually are supposed to get it and haven't been? Are you going to represent us for that? Folks, you should be ready for that. What would Jason say? So, just be aware, giving you the heads up. That's an option for you. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom right quick. We got Superpower Media over here on Zoom. Let's see if we can get you up here. Okay, Superpower Media, what's on your mind?
Jason, we are in the land of Tether Palooza. I mean, since we've been delineating, I've never seen this many tethers come out of the woodworks, man. And we didn't realize how many tethers we had around us until we started delineating. And what we got to do as Foundation of Black Americans is ask people, where are you from? And that's all I do this day and time. And I'm asking everybody, where are you from, man? Because it's out of control. We got these people up in New York, those tethers up in New York wearing bad wigs, giving money contracts to everybody but black people. And I want to let black people know, when you start running for office, the feds are already watching you before you even get in office. And they so stupid, like the feds are not going to be watching you. And they fall in the trap, the same trap that every black politician fall in, and they start being corrupt, and they don't realize the feds are watching you, dude, from the beginning you run for office. And man, she's up there helping the Yin Yang twins, the Jews, the Italians, and they all, like you said, they all going to turn the table on top of her bad wig. That's what really need to be locked up, is that wig on her head, man. That thing is disgusting, man. It doesn't make any sense that we let these people get in office. We got to start. If I was president of the United States, I would run every tether up out of here, man. You wouldn't be able to run for office if you were a tether, because we're in bad shape as Foundation of Black Americans, man, because they don't help us at all. And we can see the corruption. We can see the danger of letting these people become elected officials. And if I was at that round table, Jason, I would have called ICE on every last one of those little young bastards. They'd have been running about their room trying to get up out of it if I was in that at that little round table, because this is disgusting, man. As Foundation of Black Americans, we need to stay strong. Watch people, call them out, ask them where you from, because this is crazy, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving the call, brother. We appreciate that. Let me see if we can get Huey up here on Zoom. All right, brother Huey, what's on your mind?
Jason, wonderful broadcast. I just want to ask you a quick question. How would you deal with someone that has a dual allegiance like Amanda Seals and like other people?
The first order of business is having a code of conduct that acknowledges it and identifies it, which is what has been lacking. So that's the first order of business. Do you actually have a code of conduct that acknowledges it and identifies it? Because up until now, that's been the conversation folks have been scared to have. Once you have that, brother, you 90% of the way there, because you saw what happened. Even they don't have any white support. These folks sit up here and fantasize and delude themselves about having white support they actually don't have. So they can sit in a room with Amanda Seals in their powerless position and pretend they got something. They can sit there and play that nonsense, but once they leave that room, they enter the realm where they're powerless again. So to that extent, it's not like they're power brokers. Hell, take a look at New York City. It's that they're not power brokers. So the only thing they could actually stand on is our credentials and our legitimacy, which is why they keep trying to fold themselves into conversations that only have to do with us and issues that only have to do with us. So first of all, identifying who's with us and who isn't, who's on the team and who's not, who's part of the lineage, who isn't, who's on code, who's not. And then that makes the conversation go different. Because you see, while the rest of the internet sitting up here talking like Amanda Seales was schooling people, y'all came to me and I'm stopping. I'm like, wait a minute, I dissected this for you here. Yeah, by the matter of fact, the real issue is she's on their side. She's trying to figure out some way to gel us all together. I'm like, she's on their side. She's not standing on our business. She's on something else. And if you say that, so when she tries to schmooze up and show up, the conversations, the comment sections, the people who are watching and everything, now it starts turning up differently.
I agree, brother. The one thing I did take notice is that when she said she was a daughter of immigrant, I noticed that some people speculate that she has a dad that's from the soil, but from her words, when she says she's a immigrant from a family of immigrants, or she's a daughter of an immigrant, that tells me she doesn't have anything directly from the soil.
Right, and that's why it was very, very important you can watch the whole video, and that's why I was like, I wouldn't worry about that. Anybody trying to stand on them, like, no, obviously you either didn't hear what she actually said, or you're drawing and jumping to all kinds of conclusions, which is what she wants you to do. If you actually listen to it, she very clearly identifies herself as an immigrant more than once. That's the position she's coming from. That is her socio-political stance as the daughter of an immigrant. And that's what you got to stand on, because we cannot talk to immigrants as foundationals like that. Whatever they do in the Caribbean, whatever you agree with or don't agree with, we don't get to tell them, well, as foundationals, y'all off code. We can't do that. It's not interchangeable. So either you're going to be on our side of the fence and you're going to stand for that and check anyone who intrudes on it, or you're on the other side of the fence, in which case, stop trying to speak for us. And the bottom line is, yeah, she might have a family member that could qualify her, but she abandoned that. So she told you what she identifies as, and all we're saying going forward, all the mixed kids, whether it's racially, ethnically, or whatever, all the mixed kids, hey, either you in or you out. Once you hit us with the mixed kid talk, take your little screwy mixed ass on back over there. We have no call for you over here. And the next time the white supremacists put the boots to you, just understand you on the outside looking in. Ain't that right, Candace Owens?
And deal with it, nigga.
Brother, what you do about Amanda Seales? Same thing we do with Candace Owens. Well, Jason, what effect does that have when Candace Owens was sitting there in front of Rabbi Shmuley? That she had a white man sit up here and have to clown her and say, black folk don't even fool with you. And that put her on notice. I'm about to do you how I want to do you, because I know you don't have any backup. That broke a soul, buddy. That broke a soul.
100, Jason. Yeah, like I said, like for me, when I was like listening and watching it, like you can't she doesn't really have our background and our pedigree. So it's like when she's talking to these, like, whatever, like these foreign immigrants, it's like when they come, like the thing is though, like when they come in, they're coming in with the perspective of what white people think of us. So it's like, and she herself has foreign flags on her profile. She's also been part of the feminists and all that other stuff with the bug eyes and all that crazy shit. But like like when I was like, when you were breaking it down, I was like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. But like when I was watching it for the first time, it kind of felt awkward and unfamiliar to me.
All right, thank you for giving us a call. He's got his ear up to the phone, y'all. He put his ear up to the phone. I'm like, okay, brother, if you got to figure out what it is. He had his ear up to the phone. Come on now. Come on. All right, let's go ahead and get Paul up here on Zoom. Paul, what's on your mind?
Good, Jason, man. I'm happy to be on board. I've been listening to your podcast for long years. something I really want to get in tune with, especially talking about Foundation of Black Americans and Black political leaders. I'm interested in knowing your thoughts with Black people in the clean energy and environmental space, as I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Recess Conference that actually happens in Detroit, but it's a lot of prominent Black figures in there where I got to experience and see. I know this year they're going to have Stacey Abrams there. And along with some
is she gonna cut us in for some of that $1 billion of money that she got from Biden?
Hey, so this is why I'm talking to you, because I'm happy I got a plug and connect to really know a lot of the people and actually the CEO who actually owns the operations where we can.
Okay, brother, I hear all that, brother. When we're breaking bread.
Yeah, that's what we said. That's what's discussed. So I'd love to even make sure you get connected so we actually have those conversations. So it's not the babble talk that we're always used to. Really get down to the real nitty gritty of things.
Okay, because like I said, they got a bunch of money there, brother. So I hear what you're saying. I mean, okay, well, who's offering something tangible? What we're doing, or are you saying we're trying to figure it out?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we do enough of the study stuff.
Okay, so brother. Well, when you got it figured out, let me know.
All right, cool.
Okay,
cool.
I hear you, but just let me know when you got things figured out and you got somebody got a phone number and we're ready to do business.
All right, that works.
Thank you for giving us a call. Yeah, folks, like I say, it's just okay. If you know something's well, they're having to get together. Okay, let me know what happens after the get together. Well, Jason, I was hoping you can come up. Oh, really? You think Stacey Abrams going to talk to me? She's going to sit there. They're going to have the AI cameras going. I'll be damned. He showed up. Stacey, we need you to go out the back. They're talking to her little earpiece. All right, everyone, we're wrapping it up. Damn, Stacey, we only been here about 15 minutes. Gotta go, bye. You ever seen a size 18 run? What? Yeah. So, like I say, it's just, folks, I can't do everything here. But if you get in touch with somebody, look here. We're talking about tangibles. Hey, Stacey, we can use some of that $1 billion Biden gave you. Biden broke you off $1 billion there to go look at people's homes and do nothing with it. So, figure we go ahead and talk to you about that before Trump's Justice Department come running around. So, you might want to drop a few dollars before Trump's Justice Department comes and looking under the hood of what y'all was doing. Lot going on here, folks. Lot going on, and there is a tremendous war on to control the black body politic, to control what we do. Do not be deceived. Do not be deceived and do not be fooled about what's actually going on. They want to control the language. They want to control the policies. They want to control the manner in which we speak about things. And over the last couple of days here, I've been including you all this night. Jason's not nitpicking. I'm fighting on those things because it's critical that we control that, because you start letting in people and, I can speak for us. And I'm like, no. Who goes there? Paperwork check. Yeah, you might have fooled some of the more rookies about the way you saying that, Amanda, but no. For the pros over here, paperwork check. Couldn't help but notice who you representing. Who you claiming? As the daughter of an immigrant, say no more. Because, by the way, if for some of y'all who didn't get it or didn't understand it or, it wasn't obvious enough, if Amanda had said, well, as a biracial, I need you white folks to understand, as a biracial, as a half-white woman, and I'm not saying that she's biracial, she claims she isn't, but if you were talking, if it was Meghan Markle, and if Meghan Markle said to you, as the daughter of a white woman, if she had started off the sentence by saying, as the daughter of a white woman, I'm calling all you white folks out for racism, that would have registered to you differently. Yeah, if she had said it like that, then it would have been a bit clearer to a lot of you. Hey, wait a minute. If she said it like that. So that's why being clear about the language is essential. Don't let them confuse you. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you've been watching us this long here, if you feel like you've gotten benefit out of this or it's just been a great conversation you want to be a part of more, don't miss out. Click that red subscribe button if we've earned the right to be able to do so. And then click that yellow notification bell so you can join us each and every time that we are here, so that you can be a part of the insight and analysis you'll receive absolutely nowhere else. Other YouTube channels claim to speak about Black society. This is the only place that actually does. So those people that your think tanks are trying to figure out how to appeal to, they listen to us here. So if you are new to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, holidays, some days in between. And if you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program, live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.